Everybody else shit. Fuck. Everybody else shit. Fuck. Everybody else shit. Fuck. Everybody else shit. Fuck. Bitch, are you for real?
Sounds pretty lit, right? Welcome, everyone. It is episode 6 and our last boardroom episode of the year. 6. Cody will be with us shortly. He's tied up at a Christmas party that he couldn't get out of. But he will be coming in a little bit later. I do have, though, the rest of the boardroom, which is Salvador, director of merchandising, showing us that beautiful bogan.
Bogan, sexy ass.
Yes, hello, I'm Salvador, the daughter of 2 Cents Toys, and I'm joined by Bogan and Bogan Dick.
Oh, so it's official now. Bogan does have a dick.
There's a dick.
It's fiercely ferocious. And
he's stunning and brave.
And then fresh off of arguing on the internet all day with soy people is the chairman of the board himself, Etep Wakuyan, in the place to be reviews.
Allow me to sit back and read the goddamn hashtag. Hashtag winning, hashtag fandom menace, baby. It has happened. It has come to pass. It has come to fruition. The rise of Skywalker is a certified dumpster fire, and we're winning, baby. This is the fandom menace. I'm the chairman of the board, and I'm in the boardroom. Thank you, Groove.
Welcome back, folks. So we're going to do something a little bit different. I know that Star Wars, does it officially come out today or is it tomorrow?
It's released overseas today.
Okay.
And domestically tomorrow.
Domestically tomorrow. So this is kind of like our pre-stream, pre-game warm-up for the Rise of Skywalker. There's been enough videos made about speculation and bullshit. So what we would like to do is to try to be a little different and say what our speculations will be post Rise of Skywalker. Without getting too ranty and political, reviews are out and they're not pretty. In fact, they're pretty awful. So, what's that going to mean for this franchise as a whole? I mean, what's going to go forward, post-franchise, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about as we're waiting for Cody to jump in. Of course, he'll have some comments to make about that too. But I don't know. Well, I'm thinking they have a hit with the Mandalorian, so they have that going for them. They have things, unlike the last time. They didn't really have anything going for them at the time. Like you had the 1-2 punch of The Last Jedi not being extremely popular. Like it did well at the time because there was enough goodwill generated from The Force Awakens that people went to go see that. So you had that going for it.
And Rogue One.
Most of us loved Rogue One, so we kind of thought, okay, well maybe Star Wars is going to be okay with these guys. They got the money, they can do this. I don't even think Kathleen Kennedy was a name at that point. I don't think anybody even talked about her. I don't remember talking. I didn't even know who she was until Last Jedi. So, or until I met the rest of the fandom menace. So, of course,
I was aware of her.
You were aware of her, but yeah, we weren't really like talking about her like we do now. But
she wasn't as relevant as she was in the zeitgeist because the way they marketed things wasn't as, I don't know, in your face as it is now.
True. Yeah, they knew they had a hit. They had a couple of hits. I think they were riding high. And of course, Last Jedi did well because, like we said, they had that goodwill. But then there was no repeat viewings like there was for. Like I know. No kidding, man. The Force Awakens, it was about a good month before I could even get into the theater to see it. I'm not kidding. It was sold out. There's one massive theater chain in Joliet, or one multiplex, I should say, in Joliet. Yeah. You got Joliet, you got Bolingbrook, and New Lenox. And all of those, the Star Wars showings were sold out for like a month. Like, just people backed out into the street waiting to get into that. I'm like, really? So I'm like, all right, we'll go next week. Damn, this is still sold out. Are you kidding me? Like every night sold out. I'm like, I can't believe that there's this much hype for Star Wars after everybody's like, the prequel, Yeah. So I couldn't wait to see it. But what I realized what was going on is a lot of people were doing repeat viewings. Like everybody I know went and saw it like 2 or 3 times, at least 2. you know. So I didn't finally get to see it till I moved to Florida.
Right.
I moved to Florida, and it was easy for me to get into a theater to see it. But yeah, back in Joliet, it was a different story. But so you had that. Then not even 6 months later, you had Solo, which is one of the most boring Star Wars movies I've ever seen. I can't even really call it a Star Wars movie. It's barely a Star Wars movie. It drags its weight over the finish line as being a Star Wars movie at best.
Dollar store Han Solo in that one.
At the same time, we had Battlefront 2, which was making a different set of headlines for being pay to win. For lack of better words, it was pay to win. It was loot box city. It had the government getting involved. It brought that much heat upon itself. And that game was supposed to be an apology for the previous video game.
Yep. Which
could have been great if they would have just remade the original Battlefront, but no, they wanted to make it strictly an online game, and it's a mile wide and shallow as a glass of water. It didn't have a lot of substance to it. So the second one was supposed to be the apology, and somehow it was even worse than the first one. So
were those EA games?
Those were EA games. EA, unfortunately, has the exclusive license for the Star Wars merchandise, and that's
LucasArts is now defunct.
LucasArts is defunct, and that's a shame because for a long time they were my favorite video game developer, and I'm saying that mostly from just being when I was working at GameStop. They used to take us to the it was mandatory, but we wanted to go. We went to the managers conference every year, which for us was like a miniature EA with like a lot of conferences. And what our conferences were we'd walk around, me and my buddies that were all other store managers, they fly us out to Vegas. We're up in the Mandalay Bay, and then we'd walk from room to room, and then we'd sit down with each developer, and the developer would basically show us commercials and tell us about their products. So mostly it was just them showing commercials. We would pray to God they wouldn't start putting the slides on, because I'm telling you, you want to get me to fall asleep in a room, just turn on a fucking PowerPoint presentation. I'm gone. I don't
think anybody can stay awake through PowerPoint.
No patience at all for that shit. And most of the video game trailers
I'd see PowerPoints. How did you survive training in the military?
I've made PowerPoints. I just don't like to sit and watch them. I just, maybe that's because of my military background is why I hate PowerPoints and slides so much. But yeah, I just.
We know you're all here on your day off for training, but here's 8 hours of PowerPoint.
Yeah. We'd like to thank you all for showing up to this mandatory training seminar. That, yeah, but that's kind of what it comes to. But then after that would be done, like after we'd have all of our vendor training sessions, they'd have like a little mini E3. And most of those people that were there were fresh out of E3. They had like the same booths and the same setups. It's a lot smaller, obviously, but we'd get a lot of hands-on, and they'd have special guests there. I got to meet Todd McFarlane. I got to meet a bunch of famous people that come to these things. So they'd sign autographs, and we'd wait in line to talk to them. But LucasArts was always my favorite at these events because their people were a lot of fun. You would pray during your vendor training seminar that you had somebody putting a modicum of effort into what they were doing, and they were the guys the guys that were putting on LucasArts presentations were happy to be there and wanted to have fun with you. You know what I mean?
That's cool, man.
Certain ways to do that. And I remember like the last year before they went belly up, they knew something was up. I'm like, because I was asking them questions. I'm like, hey, whatever happened to Battlefront 3, man? I just asked them, and they're just kind of like, well, I don't know. And they just kind of like, they're like rolling their eyes when they're talking to me, like not at me, but like, kind of like, we can't tell you anything, but something's definitely up. Cause I always tell them, like, you guys are my favorite, and like, you appreciate that, but mistakes were made. Some fantastic games were made, man. But, Battlefront was one of their biggest sellers. And I always thought to myself, I'm like, okay, well, if LucasArts is having a hard time selling video games, why don't they just make another Battlefront or another Jedi Outcast? That was a big hit too. It's like you had these franchises, these properties that you could have made sequels to. For whatever reason, it never happened. Like, I think Battlefront kind of went to the PSP and the DS, like they made like portable versions of it, but those didn't really fan out because not everybody had a PSP. So it seems strange to me because Battlefront 2 was one of the the most successful Star Wars games of all time at that point. So other than what's the Knights of the Old Republic, I think was the other one that's beloved by many as being one of the best Star Wars games ever made. But
what system was that on? Is that
everything?
Okay. See,
yeah, KOTOR was on PC and Xbox. Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm looking at the because I was looking at buying like a Star Wars game for my N64.
Shadows of the Empire.
Shadows of the Empire and Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
Because I see they got Shadows of the Empire, Rogue Squadron,
Pod Racing.
Yep, you got
Pod Racer's another one. It's funny that you mentioned that because I actually went and I used to be a PlayStation guy, so I went and rented an N64 just to play Shadows and
Rogue Squadron.
And I couldn't do a lot of Rogue Squadron because that's when I was discovering that I had motion sickness. When I do flying games, I get really like queasy and sick to my stomach. Especially back then, they didn't have like a lot of difference between. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like you couldn't tell the difference between the ground and the sky pretty much. But the Shadows of the Empire game was really cool, especially when you're doing the AT-AT. You got to take down an AT-AT in that game, and it's amazing.
I'm those will be a couple of things I'll pick up off.
It's fun. Yeah. I don't know if it's aged well now, but at the time it was pretty cutting edge stuff. I don't think it was good enough to warrant me going out and buying an N64 at the time, but I had to play my Star Wars game,
I still got 2 of them that work and a PlayStation 2. So there's a Battle for Naboo game too. I was kind of looking at.
Yeah, that was out. Another one that I really like. One of the reasons I bought an Xbox in the first place is at the time, as PS2 and Xbox were competing against each other, and I went Xbox because Xbox had more Star Wars titles.
Yeah.
They weren't all of high quality, but they did have Knights of the Old Republic. So they had that going. They had an Obi-Wan game too that I never played.
Yeah,
I played one of. I can't remember which. I played one like Star Wars game. It was horrible. Like the lightsaber stuff was just like it was. God,
probably Obi-Wan. Yeah,
I think it was the Obi-Wan game. It was so long. It's been so long though. I can remember.
There's also Jedi Power Battles. That one was pretty rough. I wasn't crazy about that one, but they also had a Phantom Menace game for PlayStation that was pretty terrible, but I liked it anyway. I played it. I was a fanboy of the Phantom Menace. So.
I still love that movie, dude. Don't feel bad. It's I was laughing. They're like, this is the worst movie since the Phantom Menace. I'm like, you better ease back on that worst movie since the Phantom Menace shit. I'm like, the Phantom Menace was like the foundation. That's the groundwork right there. I'm like, this last one, this is nothing. So don't even. No, I'm about tired of that. Like.
I went on this horrible video game tangent, but what I was getting to was there was a certain level of quality that you expected from Star Wars, be it a Star Wars movie, a Star Wars book, a Star Wars video game. They didn't just let anything be made, it had to be approved. It had to go through certain channels. It had to fit in the universe. And the thing that was always exciting about it is you play a video game. If there's a new character in that video game, guess what? They're part of the universe now. It had to be approved. There wasn't any retconning of characters or alternate timelines or any of that kind of shit. And based on some of the leaks that we've heard, some of that is starting to fall apart. They're not being able to hold all of that together. It just seems like, at least from the reviews that I watched today, that about a good half of the movie is just retconning all the things that were undone by The Last Jedi. Now, for as much garbage as we give Rian Johnson for making that movie and making it fall apart and completely break that universe, we have to give him credit where it's due. Is he at least tried to do something different? I hate to give him that credit, but he did try to do something different. Unfortunately, this is not the franchise that you want to do something like that with.
No, right? No. You do that with some unknown, no name, fly by night thing.
A spin-off, or if he would have directed, what they should have done is if they wanted to have him direct a Star Wars movie, he should have done Solo.
Yeah.
There's really not a whole lot he could have messed up on that script. You know what I mean?
No.
He might have made it better. I don't know. And I haven't seen any other Rian Johnson movies, so I never will watch another one.
There's only 2, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got Brick, Looper, Knives Out, and the last Dumpster Fire.
I think he's got 4 or 5. But
in one episode of Breaking Bad.
The Last Jedi, it just felt like constantly pulling, like the table where everything's set all nice and neat, and then you're trying to pull the tablecloth out from underneath of it, and then everything just falls over.
It worked about as well as when Bill Murray did it in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I always wanted to try this, and the thing is still
that's there. Rian Johnson making a movie, a mainstream movie.
That's what it felt like. It felt like almost like these guys making these movies now, it's like a little bit of RPG, like pen and paper RPG is kind of what it feels like, but not even that smart. Okay, this is the analogy I was going for. You guys ever seen the X-Files?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
The episode where they're telling the same story and they're in a town full of vampires. All right. And Scully's doing the autopsy with she's eating pizza and she's doing the autopsy on the vampire or one of the vampire victims. They're both telling their story. When Scully tells her version, Mulder's like a complete asshole. And when he tells the version of the story, she's like completely starstruck by the sheriff. And, everything it's like point of view, but neither one of them, it's like supposedly the same story, but completely different versions of them. That's what the difference between The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens feels like to me. Completely different visions and not any one person at the helm making sure that these things fit together.
It's from a certain point of view, that's
point of view.
That's basically what it is. I mean, it's God. I want to show. I have an image pulled up. I want to show you guys so bad. It's part of the credits from episode 9, and it just shows how stupid this got. Like it really does. Because so like I said, I watched the ending earlier.
Does the story have 85 different writing credits on it?
It's not that. It's part of the cast.
Oh.
It's a credits. It's people who. It's basically the Force ghosts.
Okay, so see, we're not going to do that because we don't want to do any spoilers on this one. But
it's and you don't even see them. You just hear them, and it's so like. I was like, I'm looking at this list going, wait, what? Like, now some of them are like, I will say prominent Jedi, but it's like they never had any speaking lines in the movies ever. Like they were basically set pieces. Okay. So, I'm like, this that's what I picked up from a lot of the reviews from the critics is it's a lot of fan service, and then you have them saying, well, you were they gave fan service to the toxic fans, and I'm like, don't put that on us. Like you can't even blame us for this movie. Like it's like the movie is getting dumped on by the critics right now, and it's pretty much being panned by the critics, which is
right. These are not people review bombing Rotten Tomatoes. These are actual bona fide certified critics. So here's what we want to talk about. Okay, in the wake of this happening, what does this mean for the they spent $4 billion on this franchise. That's not money that you just flush down the toilet. Okay, that's not monopoly money that you burn. At some point are they even in the green with this franchise at this point?
No, not even with the box office grosses because their merchandise is tanking. They can't sell toys at all.
Just that. You also got to think about the fact that they bought Star Wars, blah, blah, blah. And then there is box office returns. Yeah, those numbers might end up matching up.
Yeah.
But you got to factor in cost of production, cost of advertising, cost of merchandising, which they're technically not spending anything on it. They're just getting paid by Hasbro or actually currently Mattel, which I'll get into in a minute. But there's a whole bunch of overhead. All the people that work there have to get paid. Everything else, they're not in the green or they're not in the black yet.
So post this trilogy now, because we're almost in that era where we're post the I'm not going to call it the Skywalker saga because
it's the Disney trial. It's the Disney trilogy.
It's the Disney post Disney.
Yeah, we should just call it the Disney trilogy.
Yeah, this is the Disney trilogy.
Just to avoid confusion, because they want to call it the Skywalker trilogy. No. Every time I hear that, like a little part of me dies because I'm like, don't use his name like that, man. It's like you already killed him off as an afterthought, and you have to you made your bed, you have to lie in it now. So you don't get to take his name and give it to somebody else.
Before we move on too far, there's one thing I want to say about the whole list of names for Force Ghosts.
Yeah.
So clearly they don't pay attention to anything because in episode 3, they say that Qui-Gon is the first Jedi in the movie canon to commune after death, but he's never manifested. He can only use his voice. So Obi-Wan is the first one to do that. So anyone that died before Obi-Wan can't manifest themselves. At all. So
let's see. Hang on. Let me look at this list. I'm not going to pull it up here, but that eliminates. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. That eliminates 4 of them right there off the list out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That eliminates 4 out of the 7 names.
So more right than half.
Yep.
Got it.
Hey, what's up, Goober Brothers Entertainment? Just to get you caught up, we're talking about Star Wars post what's happening with Episode 9, like where it's going to go. And I just got done recapping what happened with the Last Jedi, and then Solo tanking immediately after that, and then all of the negative backlash from Battlefront 2, and it's put a lot of people off from Star Wars. And then the new one, the interest is not necessarily there, and based on the early critic reviews, it's not looking pretty. It's looking like it's going to be pretty awful. But we also discussed that Disney made $4 billion purchase. They're still not in the green on this one yet. So where do you go from here? Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
Yeah, where do you go from here? That's what we're speculating about. Rather than just talking about, oh, the movie's gonna be so bad, because like there's 15 other streams probably going on right now, doing literally the same fucking thing. Let's try to do it a little bit
to be optimistic about the future.
Yeah,
try to be optimistic.
That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm
you do
not.
you, boo boo.
Well, the difference between this time and the Last Jedi is, well, so let's not say the Last Jedi. Let's say Solo. Okay, when Solo came out, like everything was wrong. All right, when Solo came out, first of all, because Solo came out way too soon after the Last Jedi. Like people
like
hadn't
6 months.
People hadn't even recovered from that travesty yet. Okay,
and they pushed it back.
But they still hadn't recovered from this travesty. So you released it too soon. Okay, and people were completely put off by it. With this one, you've had the failures there. Like those movies had, Solo didn't have the anticipation. The Last Jedi did have some anticipation going into it. So the difference this time is most fans are just like completely disinterested in it. Like most of us, just like we don't even want to see it. The people that do want to see it either out of obligation to somebody else, like you guys got obligations, or they want to see it for morbid curiosity just to see how bad it really is. If they even see it at all.
Both right there on that stance. But I mean, I'm not really optimistic about it. I think ever since KK, took the EU and decanonized it, and everything that came before, the Disney era that wasn't the main movies and the TV show, the Clone Wars. I mean, she essentially threw away the franchise. Like she threw away 90% of the franchise. So from there on, I mean, there's still ways of being entertained. There's still ways.
The other thing too, I forgot to mention too, is this time we have the Mandalorian and we have a hit video game. So we have 2 hits.
And that's
under
what I'm
Disney
saying.
Star Wars that people can hang on to.
And that's what I'm saying. There's
kernels
still
of
ways
corn in a log of turd.
That's what I'm saying, though. There's ways of being entertained still, and I'm all for people enjoying themselves, And even if you do like this piece of shit movie that comes out tomorrow, feel free to have fun. There's guys at work that, told me, hey, I saw your stream with World Class Bullshitters. Hey, I caught your boardroom show last week. It was fun. Are you going to go see The Rise of Skywalker? And I go, yeah, but I'm not looking forward to it. And they're like, oh, cool. And I go, I know everything that happens. And they go, don't spoil it. I'm like, I want you to enjoy it. I'm not going to ruin it for you.
By the way, Cody, Pete and I both picked up like 4 subs today, so you had a lot to do with that.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Thank you deeply. Seriously, thank you. You steered some traffic towards us, and
I got a rock.
It makes me happy that all of us are hitting some kind of a goal before the end of the year. So
nobody ever pays me in gum.
Wait, you're getting paid?
No, exactly. I don't even get gum.
All I got is this here piece of hard rock candy, but it's not for eating. It's just for looking through.
No, but it helps us that we're endorsed by world-class bullshitters. So
yeah,
that's a pretty good feeling right then and right.
I haven't been able. I haven't had time to catch up with their streams, and I feel bad about that because I just got a lot of crap going on at the moment. I had to move mountains just to make this stream happen today, but I didn't want to, walk out on the last boardroom meeting of the year. So this is pretty important to me. But I didn't get a chance to keep. Are those guys planning to see the movie? Like are they're going to go see it and review it, or no?
They're going tomorrow, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they're going tomorrow night.
Okay.
Tonight they're doing their episode. They're watching episode 7 and episode 8.
Yep.
Okay, so they're gonna catch up, as if you really even need to. But yeah,
right.
They're doing the drinking games for that tonight.
Okay, yeah.
I felt bad because Jeff was messaging me the other night during our podcast and asking. He's like, "I'll give you a link." He goes, "I'll hook you up with a link to download Fanboys if you want to come on." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, man. We're already live." I felt bad. I was like, God, I'm like, it's kind of like I didn't want him to think I was like being like ungrateful or like slighting him by not, But it's like we were already live. If I would have known, he would have done that. I would have, released a statement on Facebook and Twitter saying, "Hey, the show's canceled tonight. WCBS asked us to be on, but." I felt bad. I didn't want him to like think I was like ungrateful, for the invite or anything. Because
you're a dedicated showman, sir.
Well,
you are dedicated to your channel's audience, and that people will recognize you for that. Yeah.
And that was it. It wasn't a slight to WCBS, as it was a tip of the cap to my, all of my subscribers who, like I said, have basically, helped me build this thing from the ground up this year. So it was, like I said, there'll be, and he said, we'll be in touch. So, there's no, I could tell he wasn't, put off or anything by it, which is what I didn't want. Because I respect the hell out of that dude. So it's just like, but yeah, I felt an obligation to my subscribers. And
right. We both of us have left bigger live streams to do smaller shows because, we made a promise and we're going to keep them. And
we were on Angus's that Friday night and we had to cut early.
Angus, and Angus has invited us back. So, obviously somebody respects the fact that, we're not going to, this is something that reminds me of you guys remember the band Jamiroquai?
Yes.
Okay. I used to like Jamiroquai. All right. And me and my sister were going to go see Jamiroquai up in Aragon Ballroom in Chicago back in the late 90s. And we listened to the station that was promoting the tickets all the way up there. Nobody at any point mentioned, everything, as far as we knew, everything was on schedule. Drive through the traffic. I mean, the traffic was so bad. At one point, I just bit my steering wheel like, there's still teeth marks in there to this day if that car is anywhere in existence. But, we get up there and there's an 8x10 piece of paper on the door of the Aragon Ballroom. Show's been canceled. Return to Ticketmaster to get a refund. And I'm like, who the hell canceled this show and why? There was no bad weather or anything like that. And then I figured out what was going on. That same weekend, like literally the day after, they were on the MTV Music Awards. So they ditched the small venue to be on the MTV Music Awards. I never listened to Jamiroquai again after that because they did the little people to be on the big show. So I always made a point that I don't want to be that guy,
Yep.
I don't want to be the Jamiroquai guy.
Just stay humble, man. That's you always got to be humble for your people, your subscribers, man, the people that helped you get where you are. That's, you if people get, if you get big, it's like, don't forget where you came from. That's, it's just perspective, Speaking of perspective, so we're talking about Star Wars in the future. Now, this is a funny thing because this came up in an interview Kathleen Kennedy did, I believe it was last week, and she said they were moving away in the future from the trilogies. This will be the last trilogy they do. Now, Bob Iger, like the next day, was asked that question on some red carpet event, around the same time. And they said, well, yeah, Kathleen Kennedy said, you're moving away from trilogies. You're not doing any more trilogies. And Bob Iger kind of stepped back and looked and he kind of laughed. He goes, yeah, I don't know about that. But it's like, ooh. So moving forward in the future, I foresee a changing of the guard. Now, they did renew her contract in late 2018 through 2021, I believe. But with that being said, how much have we seen of Kathleen Kennedy? We haven't. She has been largely she's come out and done a couple interviews, of course, Rise of Skywalker, the premiere and everything for Monday night in Los Angeles.
Now, see, Kathleen Kennedy strikes me as she would be like Jamiroquai. Like she'd show up at the big red carpet.
Yep.
But anything else, didn't have the time of day for anybody else.
So where I'm going with this, they're in the process with Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and they just hired Michelle Rejwan. Now, I don't know too much about Michelle Rejwan, but what I do know, I believe, is she is of the same school of perspective and beliefs on things as Kathleen Kennedy, which is kind of a bad thing. But when you have Bob Iger still in charge, while he is still in charge before he goes off and decides to throw his hat in the ring for that little election thing, you're gonna get Favreau and Filoni that are going to be basically up at the top of Lucasfilm. I think I would even venture a guess to say, if they were smart, include Deborah Chow in that somewhere. I really like her work in The Mandalorian.
I was going to say, are they willing to? They have proven themselves, all right, with The Mandalorian to the best of our knowledge. You guys don't seem to be disappointed in it. Some of the shows better than others, but you're still engaged enough that you're still talking about it. I don't have Disney Plus, so I haven't
got a chance to watch the
I
seventh
go off what you
yet.
guys say, but you guys don't seem to be angered by it. I mean, you're not angry. It's what I'm getting at is you're not angry at Star Wars enough to not be entertained by something that you like.
No, I like
that
has
a Star Wars. You don't hate the brand. You're just angry at a couple of bad movies, which is all the Fandom Menace ever was we just don't like trash movies. Make the good ones, we'll show up for you. We'll acknowledge the good ones, but if they're bad, we have a right to talk about it and complain.
One more thing real quick. I did hear rumblings I can't remember what article it was. I think I have it in my email. Rian Johnson is rumored to have a large part in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. He may be directing, the details were still kind of sketchy.
Is he going to be playing a cameo as the Death Star?
I think he's going to be playing one of the moons of Tatooine.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But
they just kind of have his face up there, and you just kind of hear a little.
It's just a faded like moon face Rian Johnson. But no, I mean, if you really want Lucasfilm to work and you really want a goodwill with the fans, you don't have to placate us with cheap member berries and nostalgia. You can take and give us new characters, flesh them out, man, flesh them out, write them well. It has nothing to do with Rey being a woman. Absolutely nothing. And I had this discussion earlier, and I will say discussion, and I use that very, very loosely. But she's just not a good character. It's nothing against Daisy Ridley. And Jesus, speaking of that, for all the guff, the Kelly Marie Tran controversy, did you see her at the premiere Monday night? My God, that woman is beautiful.
Yeah, we always knew that.
She's beautiful. Rian Johnson did her the biggest.
They had to ugly her up for these movies.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that whole outfit was a big F you to Rian Johnson, basically. Like you kind of brought this on me and made people hate, because nobody really hated Kelly Marie. Why? How could you hate somebody who's like that damn sweet? Like, just because she played a character in a shitty movie? No, that's not it. That's not it at all. So this moving forward, though, there's a lot of course correcting, and I hate to use that term because it's just, I don't like saying it because it sounds like something the other side says, but it really,
the thing is with this movie, you can't really correct the course, because even if you don't like what you sit down and watch, it's over. There's no more movies.
Yeah. So you just wipe the slate clean at this point, and you just start over again with.
You can't tell everybody that the saga ends and then make another movie to it. You can't. You can't. No. If you do that, if you do that, you'll just prove that the saga isn't. Nothing ever really ends as long as people are spending money on it.
Yeah, nobody's ever really gone, are they? As long as there's open wallets.
You have to. It also proves that there's never been any kind of cohesive plan in place, other than here's the thing. Go make the thing and be ready by when we tell you to be done by. All right. We're going to release it in May. So get hop to it. Go here you go. That's not really enough to make this work. I mean, that's what I always argue about is as much as you want to crap on Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith, or even Return of the Jedi, all those movies had a story at its heart, a story to tell, a story that fit with each other. Now, you can argue that maybe there's a huge gap in between Revenge of the Sith and Episode 4, that maybe those two don't necessarily connect together, and kind of Rogue One is maybe that movie that kind of connects them together a little bit better. You can argue that if you want, but all those stories had a story at their heart,
For me, Revenge of the Sith is like it goes back and forth between my third and fourth favorite Star Wars movie. I absolutely adore that movie. Empire is obviously number one. But yeah, I love Revenge of the Sith, and I think Attack of the Clones, even though the cringy dialogue, for what we got, the world building and the clones and the stuff on Commando, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. Okay, I don't know. There was so much CGI. You know what? It was brilliant. It looked awesome. It did. Yeah, I can get by the sand as coarse and it gets everywhere. You give me more stuff like Commando and all that. Like they ventured out into the Clone Wars show and they actually showed the Battle of Commando. Stuff there's so many things they can do.
Okay, well, let me ask you. Let's get to things that they can do. All right. Would they do? Okay, Mandalorian's a hit. Would you do like a crossover movie?
It depends. See, for them to
and let me put this out there too. Money wise, can Lucasfilm afford the Star Wars brand to be strictly a TV entity?
No.
I don't know.
Is there enough money in their streaming service to make money? You know what I mean? It's like that. At some point, they're going to have to make more monies.
They need merchandise. They need their merchandise to move. That's a big part of it. They need their merchandise to move.
Says because you see how big these movies are, how many worlds, how many characters are in these movies. You take a show like The Mandalorian, and I'm not mad at it, but you see how small it is.
Mm-hmm.
How many characters have they put out action figure wise? 3, 4?
I think 3 or 4.
Yeah. That's not gonna. That's not.
Characters?
Yeah. How many action figures have they put out for The Mandalorian?
Action figures. I mean,
like Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would say like 4, because they've had Cara Dune, they've had The Mandalorian, they have had the Heavy Trooper, IG-11,
and Off-World Jawa. So 5.
Okay, 5. Yeah,
and then they're going to come out with Baby Yoda soon.
Yep. Baby Yoda.
So here's the thing: you have a TV show; it's small. How many characters in that show do you actually want to make an action figure of? Not too many.
For The Mandalorian?
Yeah, not too many.
I would say anyone who makes more than one appearance in the show.
Okay. So far, how many people have that been?
Carl Weathers.
Besides the ones that we've named already.
Nick Nolte.
What's the
client?
Yeah.
Dude, I would have a Carl Weathers figure on general principles alone.
Yes.
And bullshit. It's Carl Weathers is a badass.
Yes, he is.
Are you talking about, is Bill Burr the one you're thinking of?
No, not Bill Burr. What the hell is the client's name? The actor. I'm trying to think of his name. He was like, he's crazy, dude. Like on set, he was yelling at them because they were trying to put like a prop in or do something else with the Baby Yoda, and he wanted to use the Baby Yoda, and they wanted to CG it or something. And he was like, "No, you're cowards. Leave there." I'm like, that dude is nuts. He's just like yelling at everybody.
So,
what the hell is his name?
Here's the thing. Herzog.
So, Werner Herzog.
Yeah. So we are getting a Bill Burr action figure.
Mayfeld, nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Only because I was watching an interview with Bill Burr, and they were talking about Star Wars, and he kind of, I don't think he was supposed to say, but he was like, "Yeah, they brought me to some room, and they were taking pictures of my head all from these different angles, and like they're making an action figure of him." they're doing that for photo real. They're making an action figure of him.
So I'm behind 3 episodes in The Mandalorian, but what I was getting at is that without movies, without these big world experiences and stuff, I don't think they're going to be making as much money. Yes, you can make a lot of money by people subscribing to Disney Plus, but I don't think it's going to be the same, and I think they're going to be losing money in the end because
they're not
again,
expected to break even on Disney Plus until 2021 or 25.
Yeah, they can't
Really
afford that.
years.
and they haven't filmed any other TV show besides The Mandalorian. They're currently filming season 2. They haven't started with any other TV show, and they're about to. I don't know if they're going to bomb with The Rise of Skywalker, but this is the last movie they're going to be out with for a while. So
that's what frightens me. So holding that thought right there, all right, you need to make another movie to get people to come back and see Star Wars again. You have a nugget of something that they like, which is in The Mandalorian. That being said, what do you make? What do you make to get all the fans to show up back in the movie theater again?
It's the merchandising.
I say you wait.
A movie about Kashyyyk.
They can't afford to wait.
Now,
we've established that they can't afford to wait. So what do you make post it? Because Episode 9 is obviously not going to make them all the money, but to them, they can afford to lose money on Episode 9. Like they're not going to really lose anything if people don't go. Everybody doesn't go and see that movie because it's not going to do good in China.
Marvel covers their asses.
Marvel covers their asses off the back end. So what do you do for Lucasfilm? How do you're the president of Lucasfilm? Let's say it's not Kathleen Kennedy. You're the president of Lucasfilm. What kind of a movie do you make to get fans back in seats again?
Republic Commando, Saving Private Ryan style movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty cool idea.
Saving the commander, the four people in the squad trying to save one of the leaders of the Republic Commando squad.
So there's a caveat to that. Lucasfilm survived from 83 to 99 with no movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Merchandise.
So as long they don't have to make a movie as long as they put their eggs in the correct baskets in terms of because I can't believe I'm forgetting the name. Fallen Order, the new Star Wars game, was incredible. I know some people don't like it, some people do.
But it still sold well, and it got critically.
It's critically
scored. It's one of the higher scoring Star Wars games that's come out in a long time.
Yeah, and a lot of the people I've heard that shit on it, either they're the type of people who just don't like anything because they'll shit on just about it because it's a cool thing to do to shit on Star Wars, or
it's also a cool thing to shit on EA. See, you got the 1-2 punch of that. I mean, it's very unfortunate that Lucasfilm chose EA of all fucking people because they get so much shit already even before Star Wars.
Right. But that's why they chose them, because they saw how much money they were able to make through
FIFA
games and microtransactions, because that was kind of the way of the future, as they would say.
But FIFA has a built-in audience worldwide, and also they don't have to write stories for FIFA. The sports teams, it's all they gotta do is have them battle packs with their favorite sports athletes in there. That's it. They gotta do nothing. They don't even change the game. They just kind of copy and paste a lot of shit and sell it again every year.
That's it. They said they've been using the same, what's it called? Not the operating system, but the same software. My brain's not
engine.
Working. Yeah, it's the same engine. They've been using the same engine for FIFA since 2009 or 2008.
Yep.
They've just
the
been
Frostbite.
upgrading the graphics.
All their video games are made by the Frostbite engine.
I say they do a Nintendo Mario Kart style with the OT characters, and then I say boot Kathleen Kennedy. There was a game that came out a long time back when the episode 1 came out. It was called Star Wars Bombad Racers.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was basically Mario Kart. Fucking fun as hell. But if they did that and just took the OT characters and made that, put it on the Nintendo, you got a freaking bestseller right there. But I think the problem is that all the creative people and people that actually love the brand and that weren't hired because of their politics or gender preferences or whatever. I mean, you had a lot of people that used to work at Lucasfilm that could make good content, and now they're all gone. Kathleen Kennedy gets hired, and she flushes out all of the employees that were there before.
And that's what's going on with just a lot of businesses in general. It's just all this nostalgia chasing, and it's they see all this potential money to be made in pre-existing brands, and nostalgia is it's like, oh, people will buy this thing because it reminds them of something that was better. So how do we print money using that business model? And usually what you got is a lot of loose interpretations of what they think that brand is. I'm getting kind of a little bit of hell for not being as excited as the rest of you guys about the next Ghostbusters movie, because it's like, yeah, you
really
have some of that
it.
brand recognition, but I'm seeing Stranger Things 3.5.
I'm cautiously optimistic because of that reason.
I'm more excited for Stranger Things.
But you get where I'm coming from, though. It's like you're trying to chase two nostalgia properties. You're going to try to bring Stranger Things into Ghostbusters just because what? Because they dressed up like Ghostbusters in one of the seasons, and you see money potential there. It's like it's kind of a lazy concept. You know?
I've never seen Stranger Things, so
yeah. Here's my thing about Ghostbusters, and it's not a knock towards Ghostbusters, which is, you know, it's a great movie. It's funny, it's scary, like it's lightning in a bottle. Like it was made at exactly the right time.
Yep.
And
that's why it worked. Yeah.
But it's not like a Star Wars. It's not a Star Trek. It's not like this huge,
really
huge
isn't,
following movie. Like
it's a comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So why bother remaking it? Like if the old one still stands up, like it can still stand on its two legs.
It
like
does.
You can watch it right now, and some of it feels a little dated just because it was made in the '80s. But why do they insist on trying to reboot this property? And I get it that Sony, it's one of the only properties they have that, you know, could still make them money. It's like they just revamped the merchandising, like the video game that they did. A lot of people consider that to be Ghostbusters 3, and it was great. So why not put your eggs in that basket, make the future of the franchise video games, and just have people, you know, do Bill Murray impressions and just do the characters that way. That way you don't have to worry about recasting. You don't have to worry about the people getting old.
Yep.
I don't get it.
I had heard at one point they were going to do, I don't know if that's still in production or not. I haven't heard anything more about it. Maybe the idea got abandoned, but they were going to do with the Ghostbusters, they were going to do one of those 3D CG animated type movies with the original Ghostbusters in it, like a kid's version of the Ghostbusters. Could work.
Would make more sense.
Especially if you made the character models look kind of like the ones from the old cartoons.
Yep.
Could work. You know, but I don't know. Maybe they got cold feet on the idea. I'm not really sure. It seems like this new one is definitely aimed at a younger audience, maybe even to sell some toys. I don't know.
What I like is they didn't give everything away in the first trailer. They didn't show us any of the original cast yet.
But there's one thing that irritates me about that trailer, though, is that there's that whole, you know, I'm not trying to turn this into a Ghostbuster stream, but, you know, that call it fate, call it what you will. We were made to go into business together. That's a line from the first movie. Is that what people got excited about?
That's what I'm thinking. It's
not a new idea, man. You're chasing nostalgia again. You see what I'm saying? This is why I get frustrated with this stuff. It's like you're constantly chasing nostalgia instead of trying to make something fun for people.
Yeah, it's like I had this conversation with Jeff. Like when I watched the trailer, I was like, I got a feeling I haven't felt since. But when I watched the Force Awakens trailer, the first one that dropped, I got the same feeling. I was like, they didn't really say much of anything, gave you kind of a vague story. And I mark my words, when trailer 2 drops, we'll get a brief cameo from probably like Ernie Hudson or something. Like, it feels exactly like the same marketing campaign. It was the same.
Exactly. It's probably done by the same trailer company.
That's what I'm thinking, and I'm just like, the thing that throws me off is because I've watched Stranger Things since the first season came out. I always think of Ian Wolford as like this 13, 14-year-old kid. I forget that he's like 18 or 19 now. So watching him drive Ecto-1, I'm like, he doesn't know how to drive. I'm like, oh yeah, he's a little older. So I'm thinking
Wolfhard, yeah, he could. I mean, if Short Round could drive Indiana Jones around, then anybody can drive, right?
Yeah.
Hold on, take a potato.
Jones.
That's why I feel like this might be another soft reboot.
Yeah, I don't really want that, but I'm with you, Sal. I think the first movie. I mean, I'm one of the few people. I love the second one too.
I do. I love
when the second one dropped, though. People didn't like it, and a lot of people still don't like it. I don't really know why. The difference is like you said, lightning in a bottle came out at the right time. The right combination of horror comedy is something that hadn't been done before. It was a risk. It was a risk that paid off for him. The second one, everybody has expectations. So what do? You make the same movie again.
Yeah, which that's the kind of the point of all of this is like they want to remake, like it's all by committee. They're not willing to take a risk because they're like, they know this
point I was going towards.
This will make money. We know that, and it's like But these movies are good because someone took a chance on them 20, 30, 40 years ago. Like it. You got to take chances on things. Like there was before Ghostbusters, there was no. I mean, there was that old show, but it was only related in name. So it's. It makes me.
I mean, what can you? It's really difficult, like to gauge this. Like, what can you possibly make in the Star Wars universe cinematically that'll also work in a Chinese audience? You know, you can't be bringing the politics into there because they reject that stuff.
That's why. So this was my idea. This is before Mandalorian came out, and I've said this on air a few times. What I would have done is made a TV show about the bounty hunters, not one in particular. Just have like a rotating cast of like the main bounty hunters that you see on the Star Destroyer.
Yes.
And just have it about like they're hired by it's post Empire or during what have you. Pick your time, put them in there. And they're hired by the Pikes. They're hired by the Hutts. They're hired by all the different crime syndicates, and they're all vying over turf and trade routes and all that. So they're constantly hiring bounty hunters. And the scene that I had cooked up in my head, this would be my pitch scene, right? So you see Dengar, up against the railing of some ship or something. He's all beat up and bleeding from his forehead, and you've got Bosk with a rifle aimed at him, and some other jabroni there. And then, Boss kind of leans in his head to aim at him. And then here's a chirp over his intercom and then just turns to his right, blasts the jabroni away, and picks up Dengar and says, sorry, the Hutts pay more than the Pikes now. And then they go off to do something.
Yeah, that would work too, man. Because it's like you've got that kind of Mandalorian formula going there. It's like Mandalorian is essentially the Boba Fett movie that did get greenlighted. And I think a lot of the ideas were reused. Maybe some last minute tweaks to change the costume out, which was probably a smarter idea because we don't really want to see, I don't know, a Boba Fett portrayed differently by people that don't understand. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you do these characters, when you portray these characters in a newer movie, you have to be faithful to the original movies too. You have to make them seem like they belong in that same universe. You can't do your own version. That was kind of where I had just a little bit of a gripe with Jango Fett, being played by Tamora Morrison, and then them going back and dubbing his voice all over again. It's like that's not the character that we were introduced. The character that we were introduced was obviously Clint Eastwood.
It's Jeremy Bulloch, yeah.
It was Star Wars version of Clint Eastwood's character from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Not Tamora Morrison, and it's not a slight against Tamora Morrison. He's a fantastic actor, but it didn't feel like Boba Fett to me. That was a change that kind of didn't work.
Don't you pick on Aquaman's dad?
No, he's great in Aquaman. He's great as Aquaman's dad. I love him in that movie. Yeah,
I know.
He's great in that movie. Yeah.
I think
there's a movie I'm looking forward to another one of.
So speaking of which, I was going somewhere with this, but anyway, DC has, so he was Jango Fett in Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Now he's in the DC universe.
He's Jango Fett, and he was every single clone in from Attack of the Clones all the way through Revenge of the Sith and the cartoons. So he had a pretty big job in that universe.
Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian, he also plays Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman 1984. So why don't we just cross Star Wars over with DC? I'll do a Patton Oswalt presentation. I'll tell you how I can do it. This is how it can work. The Mandalorian, the monkey paw in Wonder Woman.
You got to realize those are studios with completely opposing interests there. You got DC fighting with Marvel now, and Disney owns Marvel and Lucasfilm, so you got a conflict of interest there.
And they just had J.J. Abrams direct this last movie, and who does J.J. Abrams work for now? Warner Brothers, DC. Yeah, he just signed a $500 million contract or something stupid like that. I think they overpaid by about $499 million.
I don't even want to think about what he's going to do with that. I just don't. One thing I know about J.J. Abrams though is he's good at starting stuff, but not continuing. Like his sequels are never good. He should just do like Spielberg does and just refuse to do sequels, because Spielberg didn't make great sequels either.
DC has
remember Jurassic Park: The Lost World?
Ugh.
He directed that. He wrote that. He directed that. That was Spielberg. Yeah.
DC has 3 movies coming out in 2022. So we got Shazam 2, Aquaman 2, and The Flash. Is The Flash? Yeah. That one's coming out in 2022. So they
say anyway.
Well, yeah, with the Ezra Miller. But
anyways, bringing it back to Star Wars, though, look at the things that have been made that have been successful. Certain things that are in these movies that are in common. Stormtroopers that we recognize. Okay. Bounty hunters we like. We like similar ships that we've seen before.
Yep.
Not the Disney version of the ship with the tweaked out tan and black, paint job that they put on everything so that you have that 25% difference, the bounty hunter is a great idea. That's good. I also like Cody's idea with having like a Saving Private Ryan with the clone troopers. That would be cool. Or the Republic Commandos. I don't think if the Republic Commandos even had like a movie version or a video version yet.
The closest thing they had to it was in the Clone Wars. They had an episode about one of the lone Republic Commando troopers that got lost, and didn't he like lose his memory or something?
Did he have someone with his chip? Did he have issues with his chip or something?
I can't remember what it was, but basically it was like a 3-part episode. It was like a 3-parter where their little, aren't they droids that go on this mission? I forgot what the episode was. It was an episode of the Clone Wars. They had this like little alien guy. Yeah, it was a little tiny alien guy, and then a bunch of droids that had to go to this planet or something. And then they end up meeting the Republican Commando, and he's not in armor for a long time. And then at the end of the episode, he finally goes in full armor, and they're like, "Holy crap, you're a commando!"
I want to acknowledge the chat real quick. Fatal J wants to know if you guys are going to watch the movie tomorrow. When is it you guys are going now?
I'm going tomorrow night at 7:30. I'm going to be doing a quick reaction afterwards. But I'm not live streaming until Friday night because tomorrow night belongs to the big dogs. So I'm going to sit back and listen to them, and I'll be streaming Friday night.
And when are you going, Goober?
I think my showing is at 9. I'm pretty sure it's either at 9 or 9:30.
So both you guys are going tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going. I'm going at 7:30.
You guys gonna have some shit to talk about Friday, huh?
Oh
yeah.
You guys gonna be blowing up the chat like.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Having seen. Oh, go ahead, Cody.
I was about to say with all the leaks and everything, and then the illegally streamed ending.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
you're welcome. I have that recorded on my computer.
I got it on my phone.
I fucking screen recorded. I sent it to Dayton and Trent. Those what is it, American Trent 007.
Mm-hmm. I sent it to him and Dayton Pfeiffer. We're not going to show that because we don't want to get in trouble. No. I saw that, I watched that, and I've been in a bad mood all day as a result of it.
Yeah. I just fucking laughed. Like the first time I saw it, I almost spit my coffee out. I was laughing so hard, and I'm like, "There's no fun." And I watched it again. I'm like, "This is fucking real. This is the movie. Somebody recorded this in the theater. This is it."
I know some of you guys like to argue. I'm not terribly good at it, and I don't enjoy it. And some of my arguments have just been like to the point of ridiculousness. It's like, so when you want to come at me with this whole don't consume and don't question bullshit, yep. I don't do that. Nope. I do not do that. All right. As long as you're asking me to pay a fee to see your products, I have a right to criticize them.
As a consumer, absolutely.
As a consumer, as a fan of movies, I don't support logos. I support good movies. I support cool looking toys.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you make me a cool toy in a bad movie, I'll consider it. Problem is some of these new movies have had neither. So, The Last Jedi had neither of those things. So
the Stormtroopers I like I said, I bought a bunch of the figures out of that line because I'm like, and dude, I love my son so much because he just takes.
I never saw the Stormtroopers hanging on pegs. They were not peg warmers. The peg warmers were always
fast.
It was always General Hux. It was always Rose Tico.
It's still those in the dollar stores and everything. Yeah. Still those figures. But no, I got like 10 or 12 of the First Order Stormtroopers I bought. They come with 2 blasters. They're a decent sculpt figure, and plus they're army building figures.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I look at them as. They're fucking army building figures. So
yeah, if they'd have made some decent toys, but they didn't really even have any decent toys. You know, I couldn't get down with any of it. You know, like Rogue One had some
fan of Rose Tico.
Rogue One had a couple of different toys, but the entire like run of like Disney toys, like they're starting to bring back some of the articulation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that they removed all that articulation after that. I feel they perfected it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know, I like being able to pose the torso and the swivel arms.
Yep.
And, you know,
give them like a gunner stance with their
they claim they did that because they wanted to be a throwback to the originals. What they really did is they wanted to make them cheaper. Yeah, they're cutting costs.
Yep. Yeah, so it wasn't just the fact that there was no Star Wars movie that killed the Kenner line in 85, I think, is when the Power of the Force, the first line came out.
83, I think.
G.I. Joe and Mask stomped them into the dirt because they had elbow and knee articulation.
That's why I started collecting them. I liked the articulation. I liked being able to pose, make it hold a gun like a person would actually hold a gun instead of just, you know.
Yeah.
How many figures do you have where they're holding a rifle with one hand? You know,
all my stormtroopers, all my Star Wars stormtroopers,
my Chewbacca figures, you know, from 1979 or 1977.
So speaking of stormtroopers, I will say one thing positive about the Solo toys, and it's only because I really like them. The Mimban stormtroopers, which were Walmart exclusives. But they were the stormtroopers that you see in the beginning where he's on that mud planet when he meets fucking Chewbacca.
Mud troopers?
Yeah, they were called Mimban troopers. But the cool part about them is that every single one of them is different. The mud pattern is different on every single trooper that they put.
Really?
That I did not know. And this is why we have Sal from 2 Cent Toys on here, because he keeps track of this stuff.
I was going to do a review on those way back when the movie came out, and I just never, I straight up forgot I even owned them until I was packing, and I found, so I had this, and Pete can attest to this, I had this huge pile of toys in the corner of my office, and they were buried under there, and I pulled out like 5 of them. I was like, oh yeah, I was supposed to review these. Oops. But, you know.
Did you buy any of the range troopers?
Buy any of the range
from Solo? Those were the guys with they looked like they had the apple bottom jeans and the boots with the fur, walking on the train.
I do. I have one.
I got 2 of them.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I was kind of impressed by those figures with the cloth good on the fur and everything, and those boots actually are really freaking cool.
See, I just got the 375 ones. I didn't get like the black series. They're not a bad sculpt. I bought a couple of them. Those are the only figures I got from the entire Solo line. I wanted to buy the Mud Troopers and I never did. I don't know why. But I did because I just, like you said, I thought they just looked cool out of that entire movie. I'm like, this is the only thing that I think is kind of cool, or is like the Troopers. Out of all these shitty movies, like, you know, this is the one thing they've done well, is like the Troopers look cool at least. So
yeah.
Except for the Praetorian Guards, those were just bougie. Those are they look like they're wearing a bunch of like bowls. It's like a series of like Russian nesting eggs.
I feel like they raided Kanye West's closet, and that's where they got their armor from.
You know, dude, the only Disney figure I bought is K2SO.
I love K2SO.
3 3/4 inch, yeah, because he was a great character, and I wanted one. You know,
Alan
I wanted
Tudyk
him.
is awesome.
Alan Tudyk is always awesome. He was totally like Yeah, he was Wash from Firefly, but in a Star Wars movie. Boy, did that fit perfectly, because if you've seen Firefly, it echoes Star Wars big time, like a lot. Like you can tell that was really heavily inspired by Star Wars.
Yeah. I was watching the special features on Rogue One. It was playing in the background while I was packing some more stuff, and it was Alan Tudyk talking about K2SO. And apparently, they had to reshoot a lot of his scenes because he did a lot of improvising as K2SO.
Oh, he did some ad-libbing? Cool.
Like, anytime a stormtrooper would walk away, like, oh, hello, Gale, you've lost some weight. Like, would just say things to people, and they just start laughing. Like, the cameraman said that there were, like, 4 shots that he knows for sure they had to throw away, that even with Steadicam, the camera was rocking because he was laughing so hard.
And that's the cool thing when you get a decent personality in you know, I think Rogue One was a pretty good product, and even though it had 2 different directors, I still enjoyed that enough to where, you know, I wasn't unhappy when I left the movie theater. You know, I hate that it was such a confusing mess to explain to normies what that movie is,
right?
Which makes it kind of an odd duck. But I mean, what I enjoyed about that was just for the first time, that was the first time I'd ever seen actual ships that I recognize from different angles, different points of view. All of them looked lifelike and realistic as hell. You know, and I like
seeing the Hammerhead class actually do what it was designed to do.
Yes,
that was really cool. That was really, there's a lot of cool moments like that made fans happy. That movie felt like the most expensive fanfic film. There was.
That movie, the best part of that was Scarif. Like that. Okay, Mustafar. I'm sorry. The Mustafar part with Vader and Krennic was dope. I don't care. I love seeing Vader in the back the tank.
I liked Krennic. Yeah, Krennic was an interesting villain.
Yeah. I like to think that Vader would spend his days just looking out a window at a burnt hot dog laying on the beach. So close, but so
Shout
far
out
away.
to Darth. I can't even say it straight without cracking up. Darth Vader's
disembodied charged ballast.
There you go. Yeah.
Did you watch the Jeff's Good Morning Pop Culture yesterday?
Yes. I
made him a custom Darth Vader disembodied charged ballast. I found a toy hot dog on eBay. I painted it up, and then I took a Darth Vader head from a Pez dispenser and fucking put a screw on there and screwed it into the hot dog and sent it to him.
Oh my god!
It was fucking awesome. I so opened it. I was like, "This is awesome."
Oh, Sal, you sir are a treasure. You are a treasure. So you could do. This is my advice: don't announce any more fucking trilogies. Just don't fucking do it. All right. Tell me. Do like. Okay, you want to make some money? Follow the Joker model. All right. We're gonna make this ice. We got this great story. We're gonna base it on this character. We're gonna do something completely different from everything else. And it's not going to have any sequels. Watch how many people show up for that, just on that premise alone, to just not have to announce that I'm going to have to sit through 2 more insufferable movies after I watch this first nugget of garbage, you know? And that's something else. If you're going to announce a trilogy, at the second part of the middle movie, make sure you got me interested enough to want to come back again. No. Leave it on some kind of a cliffhanger, damn it.
No, see, I would say that I want to see them do more series, like The Mandalorian, something that's like it's a time in the Star Wars mythos that we haven't seen before, at least on film, with characters that we don't know, with like a couple nods or like things that we might recognize. But I'm afraid that if they do that too much, that will end up with like, I don't know, Jabba's sail barge in the way of Cheers. Like just everyone,
you know,
walks in.
Call me twisted, man, but I was actually almost like this close to being like marginally interested in Solo when it was still being directed by the two guys,
Lord Miller.
Lord Miller, because I thought, are they going to do a comedy? Are they going to make a comedy? I would have liked to have seen, you know, I know I hate saying this, like the Lord Miller cut of that movie. If they would have done a Han Solo comedy, maybe it would have been a good time. I don't know, because it doesn't sound like they were taking the source material seriously, and that might have actually made that a better film.
If they did it like a live-action Star Wars Lego movie.
If it was self-aware, you know, like if they know it's not a good movie and they're just having fun with it, because I'm sorry, a Han Solo origin story was a dumb idea from the get-go. You didn't need to give him a backstory.
Especially with Alden Peckerwood playing the blandest of the bland.
That was my whole thing. Is like they didn't even get a guy that looks like Harrison Ford.
No, they didn't put any effort in.
I know some people will say, well, you know, Obi-Wan doesn't look that much like Ewan McGregor doesn't look that much like Alec Guinness, and I get it, but you can see how Ewan McGregor would grow old into Alec Guinness. Yep. And it's like you look at Alden Ehrenreich, and it's always set like 8 years before Episode 4. I'm like, how is he supposed to turn into Han Solo? Like his face isn't going to change. He's already an adult. So
yeah.
And the difference is maybe not so much in the Phantom Menace but about maybe half, not even halfway, I'd say maybe a quarter of the way into the Clone Wars, I stopped looking at him as Ewan McGregor and I started looking at him as Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Yep.
By the third one, he was totally Obi-Wan.
Yep.
And it was awesome seeing a younger version of Alec Guinness.
That's the thing I like the most is I didn't notice it as a kid, but I see it as an adult because I recently, you know, I'll rewatch them every once in a while. Is that you can tell in Episode 1 that he was trying to do an Alec Guinness impression when he was talking, and then he loses that like by the second movie, and then he just talks normally.
I think too when he was doing the Phantom Menace, he still had a really thick Scottish accent, and I think it started to some of these actors, once they've lived in the States for a while, they kind of start to lose their accent a little bit. If you watch older movies with Mel Gibson in them, he's still got that really thick ass Aussie accent.
Yeah,
now he doesn't even have one anymore. Like you forget he's from Australia.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you watch Mad Max or fucking Road Warrior.
Even the first Lethal Weapon, he's still rocking that accent.
Yeah, it's to the point now that if you watch Road Warrior and Mad Max, like, you think he's doing an Australian accent instead of being Australian.
It's like, oh yeah, that's right. He used to actually be Australian. Yeah, I mean, a good actor can always drop an accent and pick it up. But yeah, you're probably right. Well, also you got to remember he's being directed by George Lucas, who never tells his actors what to do, so they're improvising. So yeah, he probably was trying to do an Alec Guinness impression, and unfortunately that's kind of what we got from Dong Lover too, was we got a Billy D. Williams impression. I was actually excited about him
in a
being that character until we saw it. It's like, oh.
Yeah, because like we talked about before, he's great on Community. His stand-up comedy is funny. I don't listen to his music, not my bag, but
it's not bad.
I haven't ever listened to it. A couple of other, like when I was wrestling, a couple of other workers went to see him in concert and said it was really good. I'm just like, not enough guitar for me.
Do you realize that was the best part of that movie, was that scene that was in the trailer? It's the part where you see the backside of the pistol, and then you see Dong Lover sitting at the table holding the Sabak deck, and it's just it's total Western. It's even lit like a fucking Western.
Yeah.
I'm like, that scene is cool. Unfortunately, that's all that was cool about that whole fucking movie, man, was just that one scene.
Oh, you didn't like the vampire worm living in the basement in a fucking glass house? What the like that was like
the Oliver Twist bullshit didn't work for me, man.
Yeah, I was like, what? Why is there a vampire worm that lives in a glass house? What? This doesn't make any sense.
Why is the Imperial Death March playing for a recruiting video at a train station?
Yeah, like,
dude,
what?
I read the first book of the Han Solo trilogy and like half of the second one. Dengar is a reoccurring villain in the Han Solo books, and he's being chased by Dengar, and the reason Dengar was because of Han. So he had a personal vendetta. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is a villain on a purpose, man, with a vendetta. It's like Han saved him, but not fast enough, not enough to where he wasn't, a complete fucking cyborg. Now, if you'd have given me that movie, I'd have been all in.
Yeah, well, they had, like, you got these badass bounty hunters on that bridge scene in Empire. You got Zuckuss, Forlom, IG-88, Dengar, Bosk. They spent all this time building these costumes and putting these characters together, and they stood there. They were set pieces. It's like, do something with them for the love of God. Like, we got the books, like I said, the Bounty Hunters, Tales from Jabba's Palace, all that. Put them on TV, man. Put them in a live action.
Those things were written, though, Pete, by people that think exactly like we do.
Exactly.
They saw those and are like, oh, there's a backstory there. It's like the same person that gave a backstory to Aura Singh. When I first saw Aura Singh, I'm like, oh, looks badass.
She's got an antenna in her head. That's weird. And
she's got this big ass fucking gun, and she looks like she's about to start some shit. Yep, no, she's just gonna she's gonna be in like a cameo for like 2 seconds. Like, oh.
That's like
that's Star Wars. That's all that is. It's like you see a fraction of a character, you're like, well, those people look interesting. In Solo, there's no characters like that for me. None. No. There's nobody in there except for maybe Woody Harrelson's girlfriend.
May.
Yeah.
Was that her name? May.
I can only remember her from Westworld. That's
Thandie Newton. All right. I love Thandie Newton. She was my favorite character in Westworld, but I was like, she's interesting. Oh, too late. She's dead. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Well, I mean, go ahead, Sam.
I say, which I don't know why she died. She's only surrounded by 2 probe droids, and they didn't circle around her, so clearly they were fixated on the thing that she was hiding behind. Why didn't she just leave the bridge?
Lazy writing, sir.
Yeah.
More importantly, why are they using a train when they have ships?
Yeah, way to go, Opie. No, that's like we were talking about these, characters or set pieces. Look at like in the Attack of the Clones, the prequels. You had Luminara Unduli, Aayla Secura, Shaak Ti, all these badass Jedi, and they never got to do anything, man. Like Amy Allen that plays Aayla Secura. Like, those are her only acting credits are from Star Wars. Like, she does like stunts and she's like a producer and shit like that. But it's like she's young.
But
still.
people like that were just thrilled to be a part of. They just wanted to be on the set. They wanted to be in the movie. I mean, you know, it was Samuel L. Jackson famously said, "Hey, I'll play a stormtrooper. You can put a mask on me. I just want to be in it."
Yep.
Yeah. Shock T has also been killed 3 different ways canonically.
Yeah, I was gonna say she died in the deleted scene in Revenge of the Sith in the meditation chamber.
Yep.
And then she was killed in the book. She was killed in the book adaptation a different way, and then she was killed in the Tartakovsky Clone Wars by Grievous.
Oh, that's right.
She was also killed in The Force Unleashed.
Yeah. So she's died a few different ways.
She's the Sean Bean of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Man, like I would like to see them bring like a couple of them back. Like you never did anything. Like you got Ayla Secura, man. Amy Allen is only like 40, like 43, something like that. Like she still is in good shape. I mean, she looks pretty much the same she did when she played Ayla Secura. So I mean, you got this. Hey, did I just bring up a female character that I'd like to see on screen? Oh shit,
here's a pitch, and it's going to be another TV series, but I'm not opposed to this idea either. If you have a decent TV series, people will pay for it. They'll buy physical copies of it. They'll watch it. They'll subscribe to whatever channel. We're talking about the bounty hunter thing. Tales of the Jedi. Each season is a different Jedi that we like, and their whole story. Yeah, like one season's Kiadi Monday, one season's Plo Koon.
Can we get some love for size 810 up in here, please?
Size 18. You can see into the future, just not fast enough.
Damn it. That Force scream threw him off, man.
Yeah, that's another thing. So, just to talk about The Mandalorian. So, if you plan on watching it, plug your ears, because it's from the new episode that just came out. So, yep. Cody, you got your ears plugged? If you can answer me, then I know you don't.
No, I don't care.
All right, so Baby Yoda uses some force healing. All right. Okay, you're good, Groove.
I was wondering if you're going to give me some kind of a single.
So, I say that just to say that, so there are force abilities that people are like, oh, well, why didn't they? It's like, clearly there are some species or some force users that have special like connections or special something to the force that not everyone else has, like not Shock T, Stacey Teen can see into the future. This other character that I just mentioned can do that one thing I just said. So it's like not every Jedi has the same powers. Like I think they all have kind of this base, like they can all push, pull, levitate, do these things, but certain species are more adept at certain things. So just to nip that in the bud, I know people have been complaining about it. But
so now here's the other side to this. Okay, we thought we presented some of the positives. Now, what are we going to do if obviously Episode 9 is going to be absolutely terrible? Is it going to be enough to just completely put people off from seeing Star Wars movies at all for like the next decade?
Yes,
I don't think so. The normies that still go though, man. Like, look at I'm one of the biggest like anti Episode 9. I'm going to watch the shit. Like I said, it's for a damn. If it wasn't for my mother, I would not be going. I would not. But I'm going with her because, like I said, it's a health thing. And
it's a family thing.
It is, man. She took me to see Return of the Jedi.
With you, it's a family thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, it would be a thing with my family, except they know how much I hate. I spent 2 years bitching about the Last Jedi. They're not even going to, and they didn't like it either. So they don't want to see any more of this stuff. It would take convincing for me to get them to go back and see. I don't think they could make anything that would get them to go back and see it.
But this is the point I'm making: is there will be normies that will always go just because they see that logo. And they're going to, it's that morbid curiosity. They'll go, well, I heard the last one was bad, but could they all be bad? And they'll go watch it. So
I know there are some people that I know that, are in the same boat. Like, we don't want to see it. They don't like the new ones, but they're like, well, it says Star Wars and I've seen them all, so I got to go see this one too. And it's like, no, you don't. Like, there are other ways to watch it. You don't have to go pay a movie ticket. Like, go get it on Redbox a year from now or something. Like,
yeah, I still haven't even seen Solo.
Yeah, there are things like I have not seen Captain Barfel, and I'm not going to.
No, you ain't missing anything.
I haven't seen it either. I'll see that if it's on. if it shows up on Crackle or something. But since it's a Disney property, that's never going to happen. So I'm not going to spend a lick of money for
it's
Captain
trash.
Marvel. Yeah, don't need to. Don't want to. It's not made for us, Pete. It's not made for us, so we shouldn't be watching it.
You're right, it wasn't.
I left a comment. There was I think it was a sponsored thing. It was Disney Plus had an ad on my Facebook when I was scrolling, and it was a picture of Captain Marvel. And it was like better, faster, stronger, or something, or higher, faster.
Higher, further, faster.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I commented, I was like, how about you worry more about the streaming part of your streaming service being better, smoother, more reliable?
Stronger.
Boom, roasted. And no one commented anything because I followed it up with this rubber banding's getting absurd, because as much as I enjoy the Mandalorian and shit, like I'm having, and this is across my phone, my iPad, my PS4, my friend's PS4, direct Ethernet connection, Wi-Fi, 4G, it like the picture will freeze, the audio will continue, and then the picture will speed up to catch up, and then there are times where like the audio is like going, but the picture's moving way faster than it'll freeze and wait for the audio to catch up. So
we'll use the typical generic video game excuse of, well, you know, our servers had a lot more traffic than we anticipated.
Right. Got it. It's kind of how whenever you're watching YouTube and how the ad seems to just load flawlessly, but then you'll get to the video and you'll get that swirly ball of death waiting for the video to load. Interesting.
I was having that problem last night on Amazon Prime. I was trying to watch the last episode of Joe Bob Briggs' Christmas marathon from last year. He did the three Phantasm. He did three of the Phantasm movies. He did the first one, the third one, and the fourth one. And I didn't get to see the ending of the fourth one. I just wanted to see how that ended, but it just kept loading. It would never load back up again. I think the reason being is because they just dropped the new season from this year, which is Christmas themed horror movies, and the first horror movie was Black Christmas. The original, not the whatever the hell it was I went to go see. Yeah. Obviously, but okay. So here's one more thing I'm going to plug, and then we'll move on to the next topic because I think we've kind of gummed it to death. It's been thrown out a lot on these channels. Knights of the Old Republic, a movie or a series of movies based on Knights of the Old Republic, like several years even before the prequels, thousands of years before the prequels. Would that get people back in theaters?
They've said that Kathleen Kennedy has gone on record as saying that that's the next avenue they're looking at, but I'm not sure about these movies, if they'll actually continue doing the movie route or not. I'd rather see that done as a series, because there's a lot to unpack and a lot of stuff you got to look into with the Knights of the Old Republic as a whole. And I think it'll work better as a series, more of a fast-paced series, maybe. Not so
also,
much.
would they have writers that would be smart enough to bring in any justice?
I don't know. Well, that's the thing. So the first of the Knights are like they're RPGs. So, there's a lot of choice making, there's a lot of character customization, things like that. So it's kind of like you're never going to get 100%, what the game was because of character customizing and all that kind of shit. But as long as they take kind of the main, talking points from the show, I think it should. Well,
suppose they don't base it on the video game, but they just base it on new characters and new settings in that timeline. Like before everything you remember. They can even advertise that like before everything you remembered.
Yeah.
Thousands of years ago in a galaxy far, far away.
In order to make me and a lot of fans happy, you would have to take an adaptation from a book or a video game or
a
novel or a comic book.
They abandoned the EU though, so they're not going to do it and I think the real reason they don't want to do it is they don't want to pay any of these authors any royalties. So I really think that's what it is.
And that's going to continue to not make me happy and to make thousands of other fans not happy, because I no matter what they do from 2012 on out, Rogue One's fine, Mandalorian's fine, but as far as really pleasing me and getting me super stoked about anything, I'm done.
Yeah.
Nothing.
If I remember correctly, I could be, maybe I'm, talking out of my ass on this because it's been a long time since I've seen this, but the lost episodes, quote unquote, of it was like the 6th season ish of Clone Wars, where Yoda goes and has to like battle the dark side of himself and all that kind of shit. And there's that Sith that manifests and starts talking.
Yeah.
I think it was in the commentary, maybe, or an interview or something. I remember Filoni talking about it, and that they were gonna have him say that he was gonna identify himself as Darth Bane or something like that.
He is Darth Bane.
But it was around that time that Lucasfilm or Disney had bought them, and that's around the time that they kind of got canceled. And they basically said that they didn't use a name for him because they said the EU no longer counts, and that they couldn't officially put a name to him because of that.
The EU no longer counts because they don't want to pay the royalties to those authors. That's really what it comes down to. Either they can't afford to, or they just don't want to.
Well, what's funny is that Mark Hamill did the voice for him too.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, they don't. So if they don't want to pay, okay, I get it. They don't want to pay royalties, blah, blah, blah. But that'd be a small price to pay first to make something that the fans want. But on top of that, why don't they just pay them a royalty and bring them on as a co-writer or a consultant or something? So that way it's like, hey, not only are we doing, Darth Bane and all these people, or Darth Revan or any of them, but we also have the people who created them on here helping us make this movie. So that way we do it right. And I think that would pay dividends in just bringing fans back. But
I mean, they do have Dave Filoni. Wouldn't what he's done be considered EU at this point? The cartoons and everything.
Yeah.
That is EU, correct? And he's still involved. Yeah.
I mean, anything outside of the cinematic releases is technically extended universe.
That's what I thought. Okay.
So,
yep.
I mean, he's, he worked on Rebels, which people shit on Rebels a lot, which, except for like the first season where it sets everything up and it's kind of and the last season where they kind of take a lot of liberties and kind of stretch for some things. Rebels is pretty solid. I really enjoyed it. Even fucking Jedi Bro, like Kanan Jarrus, is actually one of my he's in my top 3 favorite characters from that show. Like watching, I don't think that it's Freddie Prinze Jr. I don't think about his rant, but he's actually a really solid character. His development and his arc, pretty fucking good. So it's like Filoni clearly knows what he's doing. Favreau's hitting it out of the park with Mandalorian.
Yep.
It steps in the right direction. He has a lot of goodwill between Iron Man and The Lion King, even though we're not really, but it's just a lot of people went to go see it. So
yeah, he also did
Jungle Book. Yeah, I did go to see Jungle Book.
He also wrote and directed Chef, which is really fucking good.
That's an amazing movie that I have on digital that I can't recommend enough. I love Chef.
It sounds dumb when you hear the premise, but when I was watching it, I was like, I want a food truck.
Dude, I did too. And I like to cook anyway. But it's a great feel good movie. Yeah, it's kind of like Ford v Ferrari. It's like you don't necessarily need to know anything about cooking. It's more about people reconnecting and refining themselves. So the direction that you have Bogan at right now, it looks like he's wearing a fez. I'm just commenting. Looks like he's wearing a fez.
Hell yeah.
Not anymore. All right. So any of you guys got anything more to say about the future of Star Wars? Like, are you cautiously optimistic? Are you worried? Do you think this is it?
I want to...
Go ahead. You got. I'm going to be ranting, so y'all go ahead.
Go ahead, Goober.
We were talking about the other... Pete was mentioning the characters, the cool Jedi that we had before, that they also kind of just fucked over and said, don't worry about it.
Yep.
Well, somebody took a screenshot of some of the end credits, and you want to know who's in the Jedi?
That's what I was talking about earlier, bro.
We were going to, but I mean, should we do spoilers on this? No, I mean, we didn't really advertise spoilers.
People are doing spoiler reviews on YouTube right now. I just seen
but I don't have it advertised that we're doing spoilers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if anybody's watching our show, they should pretty much know that we don't give a fuck.
It's up to you guys. I'll let you guys.
I got it.
I don't really care. I'm not seeing the movie, so I don't care either way.
I got it pulled up right now. Okay. So, and if you guys don't want to know.
Plug your ears in 3, 2, 1, go, Cody.
Voices of the Jedi past in the end credits of Rise of Skywalker: Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen, Luminara Unduli, Olivia Diabo, Ahsoka Tano, Ashley Eckstein, Ayla Secura, Jennifer Hale, Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ian McGregor, and Alec Guinness. I guess they just use his old voice, and then
Yeah.
Yoda, Frank Oz. So they've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 old Jedi that they could have not shit on, but they did. So.
Well, at least Brie Larson's name wasn't mentioned in there.
What?
At least Brie Larson's name wasn't mentioned in there.
I was waiting for them to have her do Tano, you know?
Nah, they wouldn't ever do that.
They would. They would.
Never say never.
I wouldn't put that
all,
past them.
She's all buddy with Ashley Eckstein, though.
No, but she wouldn't do the voice for Ahsoka.
I fucking hope not.
Even Ashley Eckstein wouldn't let her do that shit.
I would hope not.
It's actually kind of cool though. Like they used to live like in kind of near me. Her and her husband Dave Eckstein. Dave Eckstein was a baseball player.
I thought that name was familiar.
Yeah, Dave Eckstein, World Series champ.
Okay.
For the Cardinals.
All right.
But they used to live in Sanford apparently. And Dave Eckstein was my buddy's hitting coach in high school.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I could have met him. Could have met both of them, but I doubt they live there anymore. But yeah.
Damn, that's I don't know, man. That's like they used, they had Mace Windu in there too. I mean, I don't understand why. Like why?
I guarantee you, it's just little voice clips. It's just like Rey channeling, fucking Dragon Ball Z channeling, all of these.
So it's worth mentioning that all those voices and characters you just mentioned, they had appearances in the Clone Wars.
Yeah. So obviously Anakin, and then Luminara had a huge role in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Ahsoka, obviously, the Clone Wars is almost only about Ahsoka and Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yep.
And then you got Ayla Secura, who she's in a couple episodes.
Yeah.
I freaking love
She
Ayla
gets
Secura.
killed by Asajj Ventress, doesn't she?
I think so, isn't it? Shit, that was like I loved her, man. I saw her in the movies. I'm like, she just looks dope. Plus, I have a thing for like Twilight.
No, Ayla Secura gets killed in Revenge of the Sith by the clone troopers on Felucia.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Mace Windu, I mean, yeah, and then Obi-Wan Yoda. So, I mean, they're just using these people, and they're not going to even make a big deal about it.
No.
So it's kind of sucks, especially the fact that they're going to have Ahsoka Tano in there, and it's because they're probably going to be like, that one scene in The Force Awakens where the lightsaber's talking to them, and then she hears Obi-Wan and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to be the same thing.
Well, they show that damn picture of her with the yellow blade.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, come on.
I look more orange than anything.
It's yellow.
It's yellow.
So here's
That
the
pisses
thing.
me off. That's my favorite lightsaber color.
So the yellow sabers didn't have a place in canon for a long time. The yellow saber comes from Luke Skywalker. The farm boy Luke had a yellow saber. Bespin Luke had a yellow saber because Kenner didn't know. They just made it yellow. There's still no official reason why they had it as yellow, but they didn't get it right until the second release of Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi, because they first used blue because they're like, oh, it's been blue, and then in production they were like, oh shit, we can't see blue against the skies on quote unquote Tatooine, so they made it green. The re-release became green, so that's why it's yellow. And at least in film and TV canon, Ahsoka, her offhand blade is yellow for a little bit, then they both became green. But it's the sentries that guard the Jedi Temple had yellow blades.
The Templars, aren't they Jedi Templars? Isn't that what they're called or something like that?
Well, they're Temple guards.
Okay.
Temple guards.
So they have yellow blades. There was a story significance to it that I don't remember because I can't remember everything. But so when they give her a yellow blade, that's supposed to be Disney's like holding out their hands, being like, "See, we like Kenner toys too," and it's like, no, just stop.
Plo Koon used to have one, and then Arcan from the Knights of the Old Republic video game has a yellow lightsaber.
Yeah, Plo Koon had one in his first release before he actually, was shown to have a saber. Just like Mace Windu, his first figure release had a blue saber. So. And finally, I think he ignited it in episode 2 for the first time, and it became purple. So now it's this kind of like, not a misprint, but it's like, oh, well, if I have this with a blue saber, that's, shows you how old it is kind of deal. But so future of Star Wars, right? There's really, I mean, there's a multitude of ways they can go, but there's really two ways that I see them going. Either A, they're just going to double down on it, and they're going to continue down the path that they've been doing with like occasional, kernels of corn in the turd, or they're going to be like, hey, episode 9 didn't do well, this whole trilogy didn't do well. Like, at some point they're going to like, whether they admit it to the public or not, they have their own boardrooms, they have their own investors that they have to answer to, and they're going to have to admit to either themselves or at least to the people that give them the money to make these things that, yeah, these movies made money, but we burned a lot of bridges with the fans that are the ones who kept it alive from 83 to 99 when there were no movies. So we
burned a lot of long-term relationships.
Yeah. They've looked many gift horses in the mouth, and there's no really coming back from that unless they put the correct people in charge. And they'll do the dog and pony show. They'll dress it up however they have to get certain people out and bring certain people in. But we'll never get that full satisfaction of, we fucking told you so. They fired her ass. It's going to be, oh, she stepped down. She's done what she needs to do. And she's, leaving it to the next generation of filmmakers. But I digress on that point. If they bring the correct people in, they're, what I call the double F, Filoni and Favreau, who have shown that they know what they're doing with The Mandalorian. If they continue to allow Respawn to make these games, they're going to, not everything's going to be a hit. Not everything's going to be, as good as the last, but I think they'll at least have a steady, they're going to be able to start putting some new nails and rivets and planks in this bridge. You know what I mean? It's not going to fix what's happened, but if these are the steps that they're going to keep taking in the future with, Fallen Order, Mandalorian, if the Kenobi show ends up being as good as Mandalorian, or the 7th season of Clone Wars is really good because they're going to talk about the Siege of Mandalore, then these are steps in the right direction. We forgive, but we don't forget. But because we're never going to get them to come out and say, okay, this trilogy doesn't count, it's not canon anymore. Because
I don't expect them to. That's why I'm focusing on, okay, what can you make that I won't hate? Like I'm willing to give another chance. And I've had to ponder on it really hard, man.
Well, I feel like the next couple years is going to be focusing on what they've already done, and you can see it in the merchandise, and I've talked about it before. We're entering a time where there are no Star Wars movies for them to make figures of. And what's coming out this year? Dooku, Kit Fisto, Plo Koon, like all of these, we're getting Obi-Wan and Anakin from episode 2. We're getting the heavy battle droid from episode 2. We're getting all these prequel era characters, and they're also, they're redoing, they've redone the Luke Skywalker 3-pack. They've redone the Jedi Knight Luke. It's a Walmart exclusive with the photo real tech because people want those. So I think we're entering a time where they're going to start going backwards and giving the long-time fans what they want. So I think that's what we have really to look forward to, at least for the time being.
I mean, that's really the only way they can make any money. We just mentioned that. Like we like seeing stormtroopers and originals, not first order troopers. As much as I liked that first costume when it first came out, it's just, I look at it now and it's just a symbol of ick. It represents all of which I hate. Which is discount Dollar General versions of stuff that we liked from a long time ago. It's their 25% different version. That's all I can see when I look at that stuff now. So, but yeah, you bring us back the original stuff. If we see things that we like, we're willing to, check it out.
I just wish Lucas would just be like, you know what, fuck it, give me the franchise back.
Yeah.
That's my dream, was that Disney would mangle this so bad that they would have to sell it back to Lucas just to break even, and they'd have to sell it back to him cheap.
Like he pays like pennies on the dollar for it, gets it back.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'll take it off your hands, but I'm not paying $4 billion for it because you fucked it all up. You at some point, and that's why they won't do it, because they're not famous about admitting any kind of defeat to anybody for anything ever. So.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of the future that we're going to go into. We're going to start seeing more of the gap between episode 3 and 4.
Damage control.
Yeah, and more of the gap between 6 and 7. Like, we're going to start going into these, little pockets of time that haven't really been explored so much. We're going to get more Rogue One type things where it's a whole movie based off of a line or what would be perceived as a plot hole, or, like Cody said, something I think would be really interesting is to watch, a squadron from the 501st just have a Saving Private Ryan or a, Letters of Our Fathers or Flag of Our Fathers style movie about the not necessarily the stormtroopers, because then you're kind of humanizing what we see as cannon fodder, but the clones, which are the good guys.
Release it on Veterans Day. You know what I mean? Like make it something like that. You could probably get away with something like that. I mean, there's a lot of people that still have very fond attachments to this. Now, I didn't mention this before because I didn't think it was relevant, but I'll go ahead and say it just before I forget. One of the other main reasons that I don't want to see this movie is that for whatever fraction of characters that haven't died yet, I don't need to see them die for a cause that I don't care about.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's nothing in this universe that they've created, in my opinion, worth saving.
But if they did a Republic Commando,
there's no stakes. There's no stakes in this Disney universe that they've created. What are they going to save?
Nothing.
Like,
they're saving what they love.
Okay,
what they the fans.
Just to see them vanquish the evil. I'm like, why? You can't have a light side without a dark side. So if you completely eliminate the dark side, then there's no light side either. You're just going to explode the Force. So
this would be the only thing I would be down for. Republic Commando movie, 2 movies, or it can just be part 1, part 2. That's it. No more, no less. And the director for John Wick would do it.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty slick. I'd like to see something like about Count Dooku, but I don't want it's. It'd be so difficult to see anybody but Sir Christopher Lee play him. But
okay, how about do this? It's instead of doing a Count Dooku movie,
because that's like one of my favorite characters.
They
just came out with a book about Count Dooku Adventures.
Looking at that from a standpoint of like just a normie or an investor, sounds like a horrible idea. And the reason being is because you say, okay, we're gonna do an origin story based on a character that's already dead. Oh, like you did with Solo, that movie that fucking bombed to the Stone Age and back. Yeah, I'm not gonna give you money for that.
Oh no,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I'm not saying it'd be a good idea. I mean, me personally, I'd love to see it. But
what sounds like a better idea to me is bring in a fan favorite, like you guys mentioned, the bounty hunters. Those are definitely fan favorites. Bring them in, something that hasn't been portrayed on screen by somebody else already, and just pick somebody that's charismatic to play that person. Then I think you have something you could work with.
Now, see, the only thing, the I guess flip side of that coin for Count Dooku, I'd like to see that, and how I would spin it to them is we're going to talk about a younger Count Dooku who's recently become a Jedi Knight while Sifo Dyas is still around, and he can still interact with him, but he's training a younger Qui-Gon, and you can see their dynamic and how he slowly turns to the dark side. You can see Sifo Dyas go off and Commando to get the clones started up and all that kind of shit. Like, you can fill in that, because when I watched the Attack of the Clones for the first time, I was like, how did all this happen and no one know about it?
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that, just not maybe a full-fledged movie, but like, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes to an hour, just some kind of explanation.
Maybe put that in a movie about somebody else, like how Marvel always did that. Like you had multiple plot threads going on at the same time. Originally, I thought that was the formula that they were going to go with. I thought they were trying to copy the Marvel formula.
That's what I thought.
They kind of did, but they kind of did it in the wrong universe. You know what I mean? It's like with Marvel, you were able to create that from ground one and build it up the way you wanted it to be built. With Star Wars, you already had 6 fucking movies by the time you got started. This was not the universe to do something like that in. You know what I mean? If they were going to do that, like I've said a million times, you should have started, instead of doing episode 7, as soon as you bought that license, either have made, go like Knights of the Old Republic era, or start off with a completely different group of characters, completely unrelated to the people that we remember. That's where you should have started, but they didn't do that. So because they needed that nostalgia money, the nostalgia money was too important to them.
What about the Yuzan? What about the Yuzan Vong?
That's why it was barbaric that you even consider, disrespecting those fans, because you obviously needed their money enough to where you brought back those original characters. To try to replace those fans was insanity. That was just the dumbest idea ever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see the Yuzan Vong too, personally. I mean, I know that's kind of a stretch, all things considered, with what you have now, and you couldn't do that entire gimmick in one movie. But I just think they're insane.
I'm sure that there's probably another reason why you're not doing the EU stories. I the whole time I read the Eridu Empire and Dark Force Rising, that whole Timothy Zahn, all I could see was a movie in my head. I mean, it reads like a movie.
He did the Thrawn trilogy too, right?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. I've never read those.
Those are books with fantastic characters in them that don't feel like they're ripping off the original Star Wars. Mm-hmm. It feels like something completely different. And what was interesting about that was it's about post Return of the Jedi and Luke Skywalker and Leia and Han trying to hold together a fledgling, new republic. You know what I mean? Like trying to hold it together, like just barely trying to hold together. And that would have been interesting because, in the movies we don't know what happened with that government. It's just like, oh, okay, so we're just doing this again. Just, Empire and Rebellion, except we call them different names.
There's a bunch of Imperial characters. Like Grand Moff Tarkin. Like I would love more, it would just be cool to get more on Tarkin. It's one guy I
want to get away from the prequel business model though, because they're already still over reliant on that.
Yeah.
It's like we want a Cassian Andor series now.
Oh, come on, dude. But Cassian Andor, to be fair, I mean Cassian Andor, nobody cared about that character in Rogue One. Like he was boring. And Diego Luna is a great actor.
Caveat to that. Let me ask you this. What android did he own?
K2SO.
Okay, well then call the series K2SO because he was the star of that movie anyway.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's the only thing. I'm like, if they have a lot of because Alan Tudyk's not really doing anything right now.
No, he's going to be in the show.
So if he's going to be K2SO in the show, then absolutely I'm going to watch it.
He'll be the reason people tune in.
And that's why I'll watch that. But tell me you wouldn't want to know more about General Maximilian Veers. That dude was and
he's died twice. God damn it.
He's a bad son of a bitch. He was one of the him and honestly another one that always intrigued me was thank you, Captain Piet, who is Admiral Piet.
Yeah.
He gets promoted to Admiral as Darth Vader is strangling, force choking.
When I was a store manager, I used to aspire to be Admiral Piet. I'm like, if I could just be to where I'm just not afraid of shit, and then as soon as I get promoted, and I just whatever. It's just keep working. That guy never stopped working. He never broke character.
Vader fucking respected him too.
That's why he got promoted because he wasn't, he just he
fucked up too. And Vader just walked right by him and was like, he was just like Vader. It was like a parent. Vader was like, look, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I promoted you after I choked your boss out in front of you while I was promoting you. And you fucked up and let him get away. But I'm just going to shake my head and walk away from the bridge and not kill you because for some reason I like you.
Well, that was an important scene too, is just showing you that Vader is in fact human after all.
But yo mama jokes.
Right. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's.
Okay. Anyways, I think we've done this enough.
Yeah.
I think we're going to move on to the next topic because it's very obvious that there's only we really don't have a clear cut answer for how you bring us back in and make this franchise strong again. We don't really know what
they made it so disjointed. It's almost impossible to
it all boils down to you need to treat fans like people. You need to respect us. You need to respect that we have tastes, that we have expectations.
We pay for your boats. We pay for your yachts.
When you don't respect us, when you act like our money doesn't count, then we will work against you in the worst way.
This is what I'll say. I'll say, for me, it's done. It's dead. Star Wars isn't a thing for me. Now I still like everything that came before it, and that's what I'm a fan of. So if you see me with a Star Wars hat, that's what I celebrate and represent. Now, when it comes to anything past 2012, it's done. Now I can be content with being entertained with The Mandalorian, which is cool. I can be content with being entertained with, hopefully, the next season of the Clone Wars series that they release. I can be fine with a Baby Yoda. But as far as movies and anything that they consider, unquote, canon, it's not for me.
So
I'll leave it at that.
You're content with Star Wars to be reduced to a television series?
I'm content to admitting that Star Wars is done.
Okay.
In my mind, because I mean, if it's not legit, like actual canon, like as they call it, legends. If it's not that, it's not Star Wars in my mind. But I mean, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but that's just me, because you put
reality of it.
It's the reality. You put forth so much effort into, playing with action figures as a kid. I've been busting my ass being a fan of the past 4 years.
Settle on that, Christian Harloff.
Yeah, no, I mean, but I've invested so much time in my life, being a Star Wars fan, and like just idolizing and worshiping these movies and the action figures and collectibles and all the cool memories I've had with my parents and my friends, loving the franchise.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then they kind of just throw it out in the trash, and you're just like, okay, well, I didn't spend 20 years of my life being a fan of this just to have it just rip the shreds in front of me and then throw in the garbage. So
yeah, that's what I was getting at. Is it's to be fair that you feel that way.
To be fair. Word.
Okay, now to be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
Had to. Old time sakes, but
So glad you did that.
But yeah, it's watching it destroy, overflooding, oversaturation of Star Wars 2 is also part of the key. It's just there is just too damn much of it, way too fast, all at once. I'm not going to say franchise fatigue, but I do believe that there is such a thing as diminishing margin of utility.
No.
That is a reality. That is a marketing reality. That if you have too much of a good thing, all of the original movies, there was always this break in between all of them. And also,
I think the break helped so much.
They came out in sequential order. Like, everybody knew what the prequels were. Everybody knew what the original movies were. Now, when you have one series going on, and then you have these, like, a Star Wars story in between it, I mean, that's where you kind of fucked it all up. It's like you wanted to have too much Star Wars all at once. And what they didn't realize is that with Star Wars, you have a very isolated type of genre, whereas with Marvel,
They're trying
all kinds of different types of movies. You could do spy movies, action movies, heist movies, so they don't all have to feel like you're watching the same movie all over. Even though some of them do have that Marvel formula, and you feel it, they can still be a lot more unique than a Star Wars movie. A Star Wars movie has a very rigid structure that we're all very used to, and we don't like to see that destroyed.
And like what you're saying is that the Marvel has a pace. It's got a steady pace. It's like at a steady jogging pace.
Right. And that's something they were able to build that from stage one. Whereas with this, they bought it from somebody else that already made this thing, and then they wanted to turn it into a Marvel thing. Didn't fucking work.
What Star Wars does in the past is that they come out with a movie. You see all the advertising, you see the marketing, you see the action figures, you see everything being built up to the release of the movie. And then within the span of those 2 years, you see the toy line being sold out. You see all the comic books. That big gap gave Star Wars the opportunity to release cool little bonus comics and novels and stuff to kind of enhance the Star Wars experience. So it wasn't like they were just sitting on their ass, not doing anything. It was just a time for the fandom to breathe, kind of digest the whole Star Wars, everything.
Now you release those things to explain plot holes in the movie.
Yeah, they're not bonus things that give you extra knowledge. It's like these stories and comics now are detrimental to the story.
Yeah,
and you're like, wait,
retconning the movie that just came out.
And then a lot of the times it's like, did you even work with J.J. Abrams on the story, or did you kind of just do your own thing and just take a guess at it?
Now, here's a simile for you. So the new Disney Wars is I don't know if anyone else here has ever done this, but ever gotten back together with an X from like a few years ago after a long gap. It's kind of like that. Yeah. It's like they're back in your life and they just expect to pick up right where you left off. So they talk about the merchandising like in the 70s. You know, the movie came out. It was a hit that no one knew it. So they were scrambling. They were putting Star Wars on toasters and fucking napkins, like anything they could, because it was just flying off the shelves because Star Wars was such a massive hit. And now they've done that again. They've oversaturated the market with a bunch of shit that no one wants. And
they had a good start. Like I said, you could say what you want about The Force Awakens, but even though it's a throwback movie, it's kind of a soft reboot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it worked because at the end of it, everybody wanted to see what was going to happen next. Most everybody I know went and saw it at least, wanted to see saw the first movie a couple times. I wanted to go back and see what was going to happen next. We were anticipating. The discussions were not, misogynist trolls and, incels and what other forms of is you can think of. The conversations were, hey, I have a Snoke theory. Hey, I have a theory of whose Rey's parents might be. Those were fun conversations. I enjoyed those. I missed that. We don't have that anymore, man.
No.
We really don't. I mean, some people might, but those conversations are few and far between, and they're usually for people that are very, have rules in their groups, like, no negativity here or we'll ban you from our group. Like those particular circles. So, single fans.
That sounds like Star Wars Docking Bay 94.
Shout out.
Yeah, fuck them.
There's a reason why Superman's a lot of people's least favorite superhero. It's because he's OP as shit.
Yep.
Take a look at Rey.
Yeah.
No one wants to watch that shit.
That's one thing I always mention too. I always tell you guys that I'm a big fan of the first Richard Donner Superman movie. I like that one because even in that movie he had weaknesses. They showed you the kryptonite weakness. And the other weakness that they never had to spell out, they just showed you in the way it was made. And I didn't pick up on it until I was older. Is he's drunk on power, he gets off on being a good guy, and ultimately that's the one that almost does him in right there. Is that he wants to be the good guy all the time, everywhere, and he's forced with a situation where he can't be in two places at once.
Yeah,
so he has to go back and cheat to deal with it. Yeah.
And I forget, it's kind of a weird segue, but I forget who wrote it, but that was one of my favorite story arcs with Daredevil. It was, 2012, 2013. I don't remember who wrote it, but it was basically the whole story. It was only like a 8 to 12 issue miniseries, I think. I think it might have only been 8 issues, but it's during a really bad blizzard in New York, and traffic, everything is closed down, and Daredevil's just wandering the streets, and I don't remember what he was trying to do, but it's basically him going from point A to point B on foot and hearing all these people that are in trouble, but he has to prioritize, okay, that one's only a mugging, but this one is, someone's about to get murdered and all that, and it's him. He can't be everywhere at once, so he actually has to sit down and think, I can only save so many people between here and there. I think he's delivering a heart, for a heart transplant or something like that. And he's like, I have to get there before a certain time or this person's going to die, and I have to let these other people suffer because of that. And that's a really cool dynamic to explore with somebody who's a superhero. They can't save everybody.
All the best superhero movies that have been made are the ones where the characters have massive flaws. That's why Spider-Man 2 works so well. It's is the first one that really showed you why you don't want to go out, why everybody don't want to grow up and be a superhero, because he cannot have a normal life.
Right.
His life is chaos as a result of his choices.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like that dynamic of it. But I wanted to move on actually from Star Wars because it just depressing. I wanted to talk about the best and worst of 2019. So I told everybody to come up with their list, of best and worst, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a movie. It's more or less moments since all of us met each other in 2019 and became friends and started doing, the boardroom and all the other podcasts that we do, and we've been on each other's channels multiple times. What were some of the? Let's get the worst out of the way first, so that we can end this on a positive note. Let's start. Who wants to go first? Let me just say, who wants to go first? The worst moments of 2019. It could be, maybe it was Captain Marvel. Maybe it was Taika Waititi that triggered you.
Stop taking all my topics, man.
Yeah, same here.
I'll start.
You're going first. Yeah,
I'll start. You go. It basically was, man, because I got so heavily involved in covering the MCU, and I was excited, man, because like I dig Thor. I dug Thor Ragnarok. Me and Alex have a conversation or 6 about Ragnarok, and I'm like, and I watched it again. I'm like, I fucking hate this movie. And then I'm like, I'm getting ready. Thor 4 gets announced. I'm like, all right, well, let's see what they're gonna do. And then that, Taika Waititi came in. One felt swoop, wiped all my excitement away in one day.
When did that news come out? It feels like it was forever ago.
Was it like it was around what San Diego Comic-Con, so it was like July.
It feels like it was 8 months ago.
It was like forever ago.
Yeah, it feels like it.
But that really, obviously in the Captain Marvel debacle this year, that was the marketing and getting attacked again for not wanting to see a movie that just didn't look good. Was never fun. I swear to God, I've never been called an incel by more people who are virgins in my life. I mean, I've never been told I don't have sex by more people who've never touched the opposite sex unless they paid for it in my entire life. But it's comical, the attack dogs. But then, like I said, you had Endgame after that, which was kind of a high point, at first, because we had all this build up to Avengers Endgame. And after the movie,
we were really worried that Captain Marvel was going to be the one that was going to beat Thanos.
Yes,
we thought that they were leading up to that. There probably is an alternate cut somewhere where that's probably how it went down.
She just takes him out, just one punch, boom, he's done.
Just knocked him out, and she just Deus Machina herself. Yep. And then she kind of did a little bit in the movie, but not to the point to where it put anybody off too much.
Until he took that Power Stone out and knocked America's ex-wife right out of that damn movie. But no, that movie was like definitely a high point of the year for me, because it was like it had all the anticipation, but it was so anticlimactic afterwards, because the Russos kept going around and having to offer all these explanations for all the time travel and everything. So that kind of sullied it. Joker was a high point this year. Yeah. Cinematically, man, that was the best movie I've seen all year.
That was your favorite this year? Was Joker?
Joker was hands down my favorite movie of the year. As far as like what else great happened this year was basically starting this channel. I remember episode 41.5. We called it the Rogue One. That was the first live stream we did on Google Hangouts. And like a week later, Google Hangouts went away and we were freaking out using OSB and all this, or OBS, and trying to use Twitch and Discord and
some tin cans and some string.
We were almost there, man. I was like,
Scotch tape and popsicle sticks,
stock and string. But no, this year's been great, man. Like I said, because it's brought a lot of us together that wouldn't have ever crossed paths before. I would have really never got to know Sal if it wasn't for a toy collector stream we were on together.
It's true.
It really was.
That's definitely something positive that grew out of a negative.
Absolutely.
Us all getting together.
And Cody and I used to comment back and forth together on in the WCBS group.
Yeah,
and that's how I got to know him. And Groove, I really didn't know you until we were on that other show. Turkish Spider-Man. Yep, we were on that other show
Turkish
together.
Spider-Man, and I remember I was already ready to do my my Mystery Science Theater bit. I'd seen that movie before we watched it, or at least parts of it. I'm like, I'm going to totally Mystery Science Theater this. And that was my first watch party with them. And then you're on there, and the two of us are cracking each other up. It's like constantly. I'm like, oh, he watches some Mystery Science Theater too, because he gets where the jokes are supposed to go. You don't want to talk over the other people. It's like you want to inject them in where the jokes are going to work. It's like it's all about the comedic timing. Yeah, you had that, dude. I felt like intimidated. I'm like, oh man, I brought my A game too. This guy's gonna gonna make me work for this for these jokes tonight. You know.
Oh hell! I just got really stoned and made fun of his eyebrows all night. I mean,
that was such a good time too, man.
That was a great watch party, and I have had honestly like the best. This has been like the highlight of the year for me is getting to know all of you guys and getting to do this like 5 fucking times a week, basically. On all these other my channel, your channel. We're doing all
You're
these
so addicted
shows.
to it, you can't stop streaming.
No, dude, I have a streaming
like
addiction.
8 days a week, you're streaming. Yeah,
it's well, another good point for me this year is I've been it's been a week now, no cigarettes. So
all right,
I've got
man.
I'm just, it's not even a craving now, and like I said, it helped. I'm still getting over this freaking cold that's kind of hanging on here, but yeah, it's like it's I feel 100% better, man, after a week.
I'm gonna tell you a secret to that. All right, because I quit smoking 3.5, almost 4 years ago. Okay, what you do is you mark on your calendar the date that you stopped, and every time you have an anniversary of that date, you take the money that you would have spent throughout the year on cigarettes, and you go out and you buy yourself something nice to remember that I can have this.
Yep.
Because I gave up that. Then it doesn't feel so much like a loss; it feels more like a gain.
I
do that every year.
I don't blame you. That's a good idea. See, what I used to do when I quit the first time was I would take because it was like $4 or $5 a pack back then, and I would take now it's like $8.
It's $100 for a carton now. At least.
Yeah. I would take and I would throw that $5 in a coffee can, and by the end of the week, I'd smoke like a pack a day, so I got like $35-$40. If some days you go through 2 if you're drinking on the weekends, you know how it is.
Yep.
And you have like $45 there. It's like, well, shit, after 2-3 weeks, it's like, well, damn, I can do something nice, or I can put this towards like a bill or something. I mean, it was just.
I could go buy cigarettes with this.
Yeah, I was like, shit, I'm gonna go buy some crack, baby. All right, where's my hair?
Don't exchange one vice for another vice. That's the worst ever.
Buy some Chick-fil-A with that.
Yeah, I just noticed like not drinking and not smoking that I had like all this extra toy money basically.
Yeah,
it's just things for stuff. People are like, well, it looks like you're pretty well to do. I'm like, no, I'm not. It's just that 1, I don't have any kids, and then 2, I don't smoke anymore, so I have a little extra money at the end of the week. Like, oh man, all this time I could have had these things, So,
yeah.
How about you, Sal? What was your best and worsts?
The worsts. Gosh. I know everyone else is gonna say it. Fucking like Captain Marvel, all that stuff. Men in Black 3 or 4.
I was going to
whatever
say
it was,
that.
International.
Men in Black International. You can still
Yeah.
say it, Cody. Yeah, we don't have to take one from the other one. But did you actually go see that?
I didn't have to. I saw everyone else's things, and I was like, "Oh, so that's the story. Got it."
I saw it. Yeah, it sucked.
Midsummer was a fucking nightmare. I hated that movie.
Yeah,
I was wondering about that one.
That's one I didn't
trash.
catch this year. Yeah, I didn't catch that one.
Like Studio A24, like for every Witch, The Lighthouse, or Hereditary they've got.
They're like Blumhouse. It's hit or miss.
Yeah, it's either like really fucking good or just I want my money back bad. Like there's no real in between. Gosh, what else? I almost said Stan Lee, but that happened in November last year. But it feels like it happened this year.
I think he physically died last year, but his legacy kind of died a little bit this year.
Yeah, that's true.
I can one up that real quick.
Yeah.
The Brie Larson intro to Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah,
with Stan Lee.
Ugh,
I heard about that.
that was cringy as fuck.
Yeah.
That's really, 2019 wasn't a great year for movies, but I remember the positives of 2019 a lot better than I remember the negatives. Like,
Me too.
I try not to focus on like the horrible movies that much. Like they were bad, it sucks, but then I just move on to the next thing. So the positives for me were Endgame, which I know it gets shit on a lot because it's not as good as Infinity War, but it was a nice book.
I liked it. I enjoyed that movie. Yeah, I thought Endgame was a good time.
Yeah, it was a nice bookend for the last 11 years that I'd invested in Marvel. So it was nice to see something come to an end. I know
it didn't leave me angry. I didn't walk away from the theater confused or angry. So that's a bonus.
Yeah, if people want to pick apart the time travel and all that, I was like, you know what? Iron Man went out the way he came in, fucking Captain America finally got his dance with Peggy. It gave me a lot of things that I wanted, gave me some things I didn't, but give and take. I think it was a nice bookend.
I was going to say, if you want to explode your brain, try being a Terminator fan and explain to yourself what a time paradox is and why it doesn't work. I remember I was probably about 13 years old when I discovered the time paradox, and I was talking about it with my mom. She took me to see the movie, and I'm like, well, wait, would all these things have happened after they threw the arm into the lava? Wouldn't he I didn't know about alternate timelines, or that sort of thing. So I'm like, shouldn't he just cease to exist then if that happens? It's like he wouldn't have been born, and how do they know when to send his dad back to, it just
right.
The whole paradox thing. If you think about that too long, it'll make your head explode.
Oh yeah. But
that's anything with time travel.
Quick side on that. If they want to make a successful Terminator movie, go back to Salvation and make it about the war with the robots.
Yes,
end the movie with him sending Kyle Reese back, but make it about the war with the robots. Just make that movie.
Just give me that movie with them fighting robots with fucking lasers in their hands. I want to see that.
Robots.
Fucking robots and fucking lasers.
It too much to ask for sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their freaking heads?
Well, we laser beams.
We have sea bass.
They are angry.
Some more highlights. Fallen Order was great. Mandalorian was great. It looks like Star Wars might be making baby steps in the correct direction.
It's something. It's a nugget of hope. Yeah,
and like nugget. Pete, I started my channel. I've streamed with World Class a few times and met most of you through there. I remember Commander Cody sending in super chats way back when, and then we started the boardroom. So. That's kind of been 20. I prefer to focus on the mid to latter half of 2019 with the boardroom and all of you guys.
Yeah, man.
We fucking rule.
How about you, Cody? What was your highs and lows in 2019?
Oh, and I forgot Bogan, of course.
Bogan, of course.
You can't forget Bogan.
We're just gonna have to work him into the cast.
He's our unofficial mascot.
Yeah, he is.
Oh God, he is, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
And Bogan's dick for after hours.
The boardroom after hours featuring Bogan's dick.
Yeah.
Bogan's dick.
Bogan's dick versus Dave Bautista's dick.
Good. In this corner we have Bogan's dick, and in the opposing corner we have Dave Bautista's lap hammer.
Lap hammer.
Why do I have a feel like his dick would just look like a midget, an angry midget? Like Batista's probably just an angry midget.
I like to think that it's an angry midget with Drax tattoos.
Yes. Oh no. Well, okay, let's stop talking about Batista's dick.
Oh my God. We don't get a t-shirt with him on it.
Oh no.
Oh my God. All right. I would say my lows this year. Definitely Captain Marvel. Definitely it's got to be Men in Black 3. No, 4. Yeah, it's Men in Black 4. Fuck, I hated that Men in Black movie so much.
Did you have to go see that with your girlfriend?
No, I saw it with my pops. We went on Father's Day.
Oh.
We went to the gun range.
Oof.
We went to the Police Hall of Fame here in town and went shooting, and then we went to go see that movie, and then the movie sucked.
Then you want to go shooting some more to work off that aggression?
No.
No?
I just went at home and cried. I'm kidding. No, but I hated that movie so much, and Tessa Thompson just really pissed me off in that movie. So did Chris Hemsworth. Just the writing in general was just so bad. So, and then the fact that 2 out of 3 Marvel movies this year sucked. Freaking Captain Marvel and Spider-Man. And it was just like, what the hell?
I'm glad I'm not the only one that doesn't like Spider-Man. Farfig Nugan. Yeah.
Oh, stupid.
Far from funny. Yeah, I was really disappointed with that one, man. I'm glad I didn't see it at the theater.
I
was going to, but
it had a few spots, but overall it was just blech.
That's one that I actively boycotted because of Ollie, man.
Yeah, no, it's just.
Yeah. Remember, I
don't blame you for doing it, but yeah, it's not good. I don't like it. Was Aquaman last year or this year?
That was last year.
Last year.
I want to say that was this year because that one genuinely surprised me.
Didn't it run into this year though? In theaters?
2018 and 2019 have all kind of bled together for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have they?
Didn't Aquaman stay in theaters and like into 2019?
Yeah, because it came out in like early. Was it December of 2018?
November,
I think.
I believe.
November, late November. Okay.
I want to say
yeah, because it was in the theaters into 2019.
Well, fuck it. I didn't like that movie either, so whatever. What was it? Well, the fact that the whole Star Wars thing, like everything to do with Star Wars, as far as Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, Aquaman was
JJ.
December 21st, 2018. So pretty damn close. Yeah.
Oh, damn it. No, whatever. It stayed in theaters into 2019, so whatever. It counts. Yeah. It counts.
I mean, it's like the last week of the year, of course.
Yeah. See you next year.
See you next decade.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Cruz, thank you very much.
Oh, God, I hate her.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and her involvement as well with Endgame. That just really put a downer on this year. But for the most part, there was a lot of good in this year. But the best thing about this year was, of course, meeting you guys and getting this friendship that we have now, and being able to do the boardroom every week or every other week whenever we get the chance to. And I wouldn't be where I'm at right now with 41 whole outstanding subscribers if it wasn't for you guys. So you guys really helped me, pick up the pace a little bit on my channel, and really, you guys helped me actually get my channel started. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cody was actually you're the guest that has the longest episode of the podcast on Anchor still to this day.
Yay! Yeah,
it was 3 hours and 56 minutes, I think, and we had to break it up into two, and then we did another episode the next night for like 2.5 hours.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we recorded like 6 hours worth of material. We lost like 2 hours in the middle somehow. Anchor. That's why we don't do
anything
anymore.
for 6 hours. I have no patience, man. There's no way I could ever. I could never be on EFAP. I wouldn't make it. I could watch about 20 minutes of EFAP, then I have to go do something else.
Me, you, and Monica were on there forever.
Yep. That was like the third or fourth episode she was on, I think. It was because that was like. Yeah, that was like episode 20, like I want to say 25 or 26. I'll have to go back and look. But yeah, that was.
Look how far you've came.
We just wrapped episode 80 on Monday night, so that all happened this year between Anchor and YouTube. I started on YouTube at episode 41 and a half of my podcast. So.
Oh my God. There's so much good that's came out of this year, though. Like I would say some of my favorite movies. I'd say like the highs of them were, besides the three of you, seeing you guys and being friends with y'all. How to Train Your Dragon 3 was really good. Endgame, of course, was really good. What was another one over the summer that I saw? Was Meg this year or last year?
That was last. That was 2017, actually. Yeah, Meg was 2017.
Wow, that came out 2 years ago.
Meg was 2017. Let me double check on that.
Holy crap!
Yeah, I went on opening day to see that one too because I'm a sucker for anything with a big monster in it.
Me too. But anyways, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was a really good movie.
Yeah, Meg was last year. That was August 10th, 2018.
Well, fuck it, whatever. Anyways,
fuck it. Do it live.
Do it live.
We're doing it live. I would say just us ragging on the Rise of Skywalker has been awesome.
It has been fun.
Just the camaraderie we've had with each other, just bullshitting about that and just really ripping on all of it and being able to be critical of Star Wars and I don't know, just talk about it. I think
without being really called an incel. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you guys haven't called me
an incel. Pretty sure we'll never call you an incel.
We're in the clear right now.
Yep. Or misogynist. Yeah.
You're a massage therapist? What?
Yeah, I was massaging this. No,
Giggity.
giggity you.
Ow.
I was massaging Bogan.
My first actual video that I did on my channel was a review for Halloween 2018.
Oh.
So yeah, October. That was my first video, and then I just did not know what to do with my channel. And then right about the time that Solo came out, I started a website, and I wanted to start writing stories. And then I thought, how can I get more traffic to this website? I know I need to start making YouTube videos, you know. So I went out and bought a webcam, freaking microphone, all this shit here, and just started talking about stuff that. And the reason I did it was I was playing Destiny a lot at the time. I used to go pretty hardcore on that game, and I'd always be talking about the same shit I talked to you guys with. And they're like, well, why don't you start a YouTube channel or a blog or something, man? And my aunt said, why don't you become a Twitch streamer? I'm like, I can't because I suck at every freaking video game I play. Like, I'm terrible, you know? She's like, doesn't matter. You just need to be funny. I'm like, I can talk. I can be funny. I can't play video games. I'll do YouTube. So I started just covering pop culture stuff. And I was watching. I'd been watching YouTube for a couple of years before I started doing it. So I kind of knew what to do and what not to do. And then I think the turning point for me was because I like you guys, I was coming off of 2018 really salty. Like, God, movies suck. All this franchises suck. Everything's bad. What can I do? How can I turn a negative into a positive? It's like, I know I will create content. I'll be heard, and I will do it until YouTube removes me from the air, you know? So went out to go see, I remember the Brie Larson thing was coming out, and I was like, what an idiot, you know? It's like, who is this person? Why is she telling me what I should be watching? And why did they pick this person of all people to lead the MCU? It's like, now you're going to watch that be destroyed as well. You know, it's like, where do they find these people and why do they do this? You know, it's like, you have an established fan base. Why do you have to destroy these people? So made a lot of videos about her, got a lot of views off of those because she was like, YouTube magic for about the first part of 2019. You know, I didn't see Captain Marvel, and I remember the challenge was go see Alita Battle Angel instead. And I thought, well, that sounds stupid. Why the hell would I go see one movie in protest of another movie?
Wait, Alita came out this year, right?
Alita was this year. So I said, okay, so why? And I made a video, and I said, do I want to see this movie because it's good, or am I just seeing this because fuck Captain Marvel? You know, I'm like, is it fair that one movie should be successful because another one is so terribly bad? And people on there were generally intrigued by that question. And I just named the video that question. That thing's got like thousands of views, and I never had made a video that got thousands of views, but also thousands of comments. People convincing me, they're like, well, do you like science fiction? Do you like cyberpunk? I'm like, hills, yeah. So they're like, go see it. I think you'll genuinely enjoy it. So I'm like, okay, since so many of you people convinced me to go see this movie, I'll go check it out. And I did. And I was genuinely surprised at what I saw. And the reason I say that's a turning point is it taught me to take the blinders off and be open to new ideas, you know. And ever since then, I've met you guys. I've been hooked up with the Fandom Menace. I got, we got a boardroom now. I'm streaming 3 or 4 different days a week. Had I not had that turning point, you guys would have never heard of me, and I never would have heard of you. So that was the turning point for me, and that's why Alita is really important to me. And not just because it was a badass movie, but because it opened me up to be receptive to new things. Because I pretty much never liked manga or anime or anything like that, and it just wound up being a really good movie that is a good start of something that I want to see more of. So that was my low was Captain Marvel, but also my high because I never would have discovered Alita had I not found out about the Captain Marvel challenge. Because I told you guys before, trailers for Alita I didn't think were very good. To me, it just came out, it looked like a YA movie, like another Insurgents or
Maze Runner,
Runner, pick one, Hunger Games. It looked like another one of those, and I just like, I don't usually go and see movies like that because I'm not the right demographic for it. So that was my low and my high. As far as movies go, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was great just because it's reminds me of so many things that we used to take for granted, you know, just actors and people. It's kind of like a tour of things that you remember from Hollywood if you've ever seen the movie. You know, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's awesome. You know, it's a Quentin Tarantino movie. It's probably his least violent one, even though there's some really violent scenes in it. Ford versus Ferrari, obviously. Joker was phenomenal. That was another turning point because I kind of was pretty much disinterested in DC, but they've had a lot of wins, you know, as of late. So, you know, I'm excited about Wonder Woman and Aquaman. I thought was a good time. You know, I didn't expect to like that one either, but that was last year. But just proves to me that even in DC, they're making some decent stuff now. You know, like they finally cracked the code to just make your own thing. Don't copy Marvel. Do new things. You know, so. But yeah, obviously meeting you guys was the highlight. But none of that would have happened if I hadn't opened my mind, went and saw Alita, and then towards the end of the year, movies started to get better. And I'm more optimistic than maybe you guys are. I think movies are getting better. I think a lot of this like woke entertainment is starting to go the way of the Dido because people just aren't showing up for these movies anymore. They're done with it. You know, they're not. Mm-hmm. They're not going to go to these out of some misplaced guilt that they have to see these because their friends might look down on them. They're not doing that anymore. You know, even the people that defend this stuff aren't showing up for these movies.
No,
it's going to go away. It's going to get better. I have a movie pass now. I changed my channel from being a ranty pop culture channel to just reviewing movies and talking about that. So I'm very optimistic going forward.
Oh, and Good Boys. That was a great movie too. Please go see Good Boys, guys, if you haven't seen it.
I forgot about the gift that has been that just keeps on giving to me something that I hold so close to my heart is Batwoman.
I knew that was coming.
I have 2019 to thank for Batwoman.
You have a love-hate relationship with that.
I'm gonna end up marrying Ruby Rose someday. I think I don't know why, but it'll probably happen. It'll be really weird, but I that show just it's just a gift that keeps on giving, and it's on hiatus right now. And I'm like that old meme of Dimitri walking around, you know, he's on the beach and he's on his knees, you know, like dramatic Dimitri. Do you remember that meme? That's me without Batwoman. I'm just lost without it. I don't know.
We've kind of gone full circle because we've gone from just like absolutely hating this kind of entertainment to just being able to just laugh at it. You know, it's like you went and saw Charlie's Angels. I went and saw Terminator Dark Fate. I saw Black Christmas. You know, I mean,
I forgot about Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
See, you guys have already forgotten it. You've already forgotten it. That's how bad it is. It's already it's gone bye now.
I was watching that show since it came out in 2011, and just to watch it, it's like watching a football game, and it's like down to the fucking clock's about to run out, and they just fumble right there at the fucking right there at the fucking 5-yard line, just fucking, and then, oh my god, I was so fucking mad.
That's how I felt watching The Last Jedi, except I don't watch a lot of football, so my best comparison is like watching one of those like America's Got Talent videos, and then you see somebody go up there and they're all pumped, and you're rooting for them backstage, and then they get out there and they start belting out some really bad off tune, just completely melting down on stage, and you're just like, oh no. But at the same time, you can't stop watching either. You know, it's like, oh, it's getting worse, isn't it? Oh, that was me watching Black Christmas, by the way.
I still got.
Just when you think it ain't gonna get any worse, hold my beer.
Oh yeah, I see. In 2019's not done with me yet. I still got Rise of Skywalker tomorrow night, and I'm gonna watch Cats. So
you're watching Cats for?
I'm gonna fucking watch Cats. Yep.
Bring some catnip.
I'm gonna sneak my kitties and my coat into the theater with me.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna take Meech with me. I can't
believe you're gonna go see Cats. You know, I was actually joking with you. I was like, I'm gonna talk Pete into seeing Cats. Watch. I can't remember if I was telling Cody or if I was telling MJ. I was telling one of you guys. I'm like, I'm gonna trick him into seeing Cats.
I'll watch it one way or another, whether I go to the theater or not. I'll watch it.
I kept like doing like the SNL thing, the suggestive thing. I'm like, but you're gonna go see it, right? And I just kept saying that over and over and over again.
After like a week, I'm like, yes, I'm just gonna watch it.
So I gotta see Cats. Yeah, I'm seeing Cats. I'm like, Pete, you really don't have to see Cats. I was just fucking with you. Yeah, It was for comedic value. Yeah.
Now I can't help it. I'm just gonna.
Now you have to go.
I'm just gonna watch it now.
See how I went off full Manchurian Candidate with Pete Hair and turned him into a sleeper cell agent to have to go see Cats. You know,
morbid curiosity to see.
I just have that effect on you. Yeah. Jesus, dude. Yeah. No, I don't expect to see Cats. Yeah. I might see it. I mean, I at this point, I just want to see anything that isn't Star Wars. I'll be like, I leave this weekend. I'm gone for 2 weeks. I still got my movie pass, but I don't have a car, so I'm at the mercy of whoever's willing to drive me to the movie theater, and that's whatever they want to see. Hope to God none of them say, "Do you want to go see Star Wars?" Because friends of mine want to hang out with me. I'm not going to say no, but I'll be like, okay, there has to be a caveat. Yeah. Don't fucking ask me what I think about it.
Yep.
I mean, Brian already knows. He knows how I feel about Star Wars. He's not going to expect me to jump up and down and be excited about it.
Adam.
Yeah.
You want to go see Star Wars?
Sure. You want to do it? Let's do it. Let's go. Fuck it. Let's go. Because I know you'll tell me about it.
Tell me how you feel about it after.
Oh yeah, sure. I want your exact feelings. Don't hold anything back.
Only if I can lay on a couch with a wet towel on my head while I'm telling you how I feel about it.
I'll try to take mental notes this time instead of just being kind of like blindsided by the Last Jedi and walking out.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Man, yeah, I was so confused when I walked out of that one, and that's the only Star Wars movie that I've only seen once in a theater.
I was like stumbling out of the theater like I was drunk. Like, what did I just sit through? What was that? I have no fucking clue what I just
had a headache, man. I had a fucking migraine headache, and I at first I thought it was because I was stressed out because my parents and I were trying to hurry up and see this before the whole world spoiled it for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I walked out of it, like they had a migraine and I had a migraine. I thought they were giving me a migraine. Then I just realized, no, it's just a confusing movie.
My buddy I went with was like, we're getting in because I drove, we're getting in my truck, and he's like, man, that was awesome. And I fucking just sat there, and I remember I started my truck up, and I
looked at the range of emotions, man. I went through the denial, and then the guilt, and then the anger, and then the frustration, and the just complete disconnect from it.
Yeah.
It took me a whole year to write a review for that.
That's right, because he was like, "Oh man," he goes, that was." I'm like, "No, that wasn't good." What do you mean? And I'm like, I felt bad because the dude, he's the one who bought me he bought a ticket because I wasn't gonna go watch it. I was like, I'm just not gonna go watch it because I hadn't seen Force Awakens yet or anything. I'm like, I'm not even gonna watch. I don't even care because it just didn't look like it appealed to me. I'm like, So after I watched The Last Dumpster Fire, I went out and I rented Force Awakens, and I'm like, oh God. I'm like, well, wait, what? I'm like, these don't make any, there's no congruency here between these fucking movies. I'm like, what? Loosely, so I don't.
I want to give a shout out to Keely Chow in the chat. Welcome, Keely Chow.
What's up, Keely Chow?
Sup, dude?
But yeah, it's like I forgot what the term is. Maybe Sal will remember what this term is. But it's like when you buy, is it buyer's remorse?
Yeah, buyer's remorse when you buy something and you're like, man, like it's something you think you want, you buy it, you get it home, and you're like, I really don't want this.
Okay, that's buyer's remorse. But what do you call it when like you spend money on something, but you absolutely refuse to admit that it's a piece of trash because you bought it, therefore it is good? Like I get a lot of that when I read Amazon. I always tell people I don't trust Amazon reviews because a lot of people buy something and they think if they bought the most expensive one, then that means it's the best one. It's not true. I owned an Astro headset from my PS4. It's a piece of shit. It's a fucking piece of shit that never connected. It was always dropping signals and everything. That's a $300 fucking headset that don't work.
Brand loyalty.
Dude, I took that fucker back. Thankfully, I bought the extended warranty on that one for Best Buy.
Mm-hmm.
Took it back, no questions. Returned it. Bought a headset that was like a fourth of the price of that worked way better.
Nice.
So I don't believe that shit. You know what I mean? It's like I was like, and that's when I realized it's like just because something is expensive don't mean it works better. But yeah, people have this brand loyalty. They just think because they bought, Beats by Dre that is the absolute best pair of headphones. It's bullshit.
Yep.
The smart people buy Audio Technica because they know what's up.
I just remembered another high for this year was season 3 of The Orville.
I need to watch that.
I forgot all about the Orville.
Yeah, I couldn't even make it through season 1. I'm being honest with you. It was just there was two. It felt like so. From what little I watched, I think I watched maybe 3 episodes. It feels like it's kind of like Game of Thrones in outer space. but there were just too many characters being introduced that I couldn't remember any names or faces. I was like, and it felt like I was supposed to already know who they were. I'm sorry, not the Orville. I'm thinking of the Expanse. I'm sorry, I've never seen the Orville.
Yeah, I had a hard time with the Expanse too. I have a hard time following it.
I heard that was good.
I hear it's good too, and I watched an entire 2 seasons of it. I think can't get into it, man. It's not what I'm looking for in a sci-fi show. I'm not saying it's bad. It just doesn't. I have problems with it. I can't put my finger on any one singular issue, but I think a lot of it is just that I don't have any compassion for the characters, and it's hard to follow.
Mm-hmm. The Expanse kind of treats you like you're supposed to already know who all these characters are, because it just kind of throws you into all these stories, which
it does. It's like on one hand, I appreciate the lack of exposition going on, but there's some things where it's like I'm just supposed to know all this because why? Mm-hmm. Was I supposed to read books before I watched this show? Because if so, fuck that.
Yeah, and I get there's probably later down there's probably explanation through flashback episodes, everybody's favorite. But I'm like, I mean,
it's not as bad as watching Game of Thrones because I love sci-fi and the special effects in that show are beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. But I find it hard to follow. Like it bounces around a little bit too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so what do you got for us, Cody? You got some Florida stories for us, buddy?
I got a pretty good one for you guys. I think y'all will enjoy.
Awesome sauce. We always do.
So
hopefully it involves magnets.
You know what? We still.
Are you for real?
Sorry.
We still got to go magnet fishing, guys.
We really do.
Yes.
I'm down.
Instead of going to a Star Wars Celebration or one of those big old inner cities with the youth, we should go magnet fishing.
Let's do it.
Go here in Florida too.
I totally forgot to upload that clip. I had a clip of Jesse Pinkman going, "Yeah, bitch, magnets." I was gonna play that right when you said that too, but I forgot to upload it. I'm so sorry. I screwed up today.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
I'll have to make up for that later on a later episode. I had the clip and everything ready to go. I just forgot to upload it.
All right, guys. Well, here we go. Drunken Florida man returns stolen painting of Star Wars AT-ST Walker.
Do you want to do a screen share or no?
Nah, I just got it on my phone right now.
Okay, gotcha.
So, an admitted art thief apologized for stealing a painting from a Jacksonville Beach brewery. The unnamed person stole artwork from the green room last month. The painting was created by noted local artist Mobarak Abdullah III. What a name. On Tuesday, the business posted a message saying the painting had been returned with a note of apology. Oh, Jesus, I can't even read it. It says, "Dear Green Room plus Artist Mo, I am so sorry." They underlined the word so sorry. My friend I was with that night showed me the past on Facebook. I made a drunken mistake. I had no idea it was the work of a local artist. My intent was not, underlined, to be malicious towards Green Room or the artist. This handwriting is like a kindergarten handwriting. It's terrible. It was meant more in a,
Florida,
in quote, dare / light. What does this say? A lightweight it starts with, I don't know. Regardless of my intent, however, taking something that doesn't belong to you is always wrong. I made a stupid, childish decision that was induced by alcohol and my love for Star Wars. I feel awful. Once again, I sincerely apologize. I wish the artist all the best. This was written on notebook paper.
Was this written by the Water Boy?
Looked like it. Hold on. If you guys give me a second, I'm just going to do a screen share of this freaking story. Because it's just too funny not to show you guys.
Is it written in purple crayon?
Blue pen.
Oh God.
It's so funny though. How the hell?
It's probably written on the back of a Big Mac wrapper.
Oh, don't talk about food right now. The munchies.
I can tell you what I ate before I came on here.
You should tell. You told me. You should tell Pete what you ate before you came on here. Actually, tell all of us what you ate before you came on here.
So, because I'm in my 30s and I don't want to live to see my 40s, apparently, I thought it would be a great idea to get Burger King after doing all my moving today. And so I went to the drive-thru and I was like, man, I'm really hungry. Let me get something big. And they have the sandwich called the Stacker.
Oh, God.
But they've upgraded it to what they call the King Stacker, so it's the size of a Whopper now.
Shut your mouth.
So I got the Double Stacker because reasons. But I got what they call the Rodeo Double Stacker King, which is a double Whopper with their King sauce, which is basically Big Mac sauce, onion rings, cheese, and barbecue sauce.
Look on your face.
I'm gonna fucking go to goddamn Burger King ain't open here. They're closed. God damn it. Because that sounds good as hell, right? I would drive down to the other end of town.
It sounds good to you now, but 3 or 4 hours from now, it's gonna blow your asshole out, and then you're gonna be sorry. Yeah.
I'll have to get up in 3 or 4 hours, let the dog out anyway, so it'd work out. It'd be well worth it.
I've had Olive Garden today and Sonny's.
Oh, dude, I used to like Olive Garden. What the hell happened to that place, man?
It's Italian McDonald's.
It is. It's fucking garbage now. Like it used to be halfway decent food, but I stopped going there because I just feel like I'm eating garbage. Like everything tastes like crap now.
We had it catered to us at work today, so
like
I'd still eat it, dude. Hell,
I'd rather buy Chef Boyardee than fucking Olive Garden at this point.
I want to go that far, but okay.
Well, Olive Garden they do serve alcohol there.
Yeah, alcohol, and they still got that. I'm sure they probably haven't fucked up the salad with the breadsticks.
No, it's still good. I went there the day I went to see Endgame with my buddy. We went to Saginaw. And you just want to go to Olive Garden? I'm like, yeah, what the hell? So I'm like, I'm gonna have a couple drinks before we go. I was like, I'm driving, so I'll keep I'll just have I had a couple vodka and tonics, and I had my little vape pen, my gimmick. I'm the whole way down there, ate like an edible right before we went into Olive Garden. So we're ordering our drinks at Olive Garden, right? So I'm just loose already. The waitress comes over. And she's like, she asked me for my drink. I'm like, oh no, get his first. And she's like, why? And I put my hand on his. I'm like, just get his first. She looked at me and he's real like when we sat at the movies, he made me put like a seat in between us.
Oh, he made you put the anti-gay seat in between you guys?
Yep.
Yeah,
and I sat in it. I'm like, what, man? He's like, move, motherfucker. I'm like, how am I supposed to talk to you during the movies? Don't talk to me during the movie. I'm like, I'm going to talk to you. So like, I was fucking with him at the restaurant though, like the whole time. I was like,
gonna say we used to do that in high school. I don't do that anymore. I'll sit.
He does. He's still like that.
But yeah, doing that shit. We used to do that in high school because it was like considered like not cool to sit next to directly next to your buddy in a movie theater. God, the '90s were fucked up.
I always did because I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to talk to you with a seat in between us, man?
Well, shit, yeah.
Over and say something.
It's like I'm gonna trash talk the movie trailers to you. I want you to hear what I gotta say.
He was the only one of my boys still to this day that does that. Like, it was funny, man. So like I did like at the restaurant, like I put my hand on his and I was like making and the people next to us like thought we were like, not that, I'll do a Seinfeld, not that there's anything wrong with that, but
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
And I have a wedding ring on and he doesn't, so I was like, he's my side piece.
Linkalec7 says, don't you hate on Chef Boyardee? I'm not. I actually love Chef Boyardee. I would eat it now if I could, if it wasn't for my diet. When you're poor, when you're absolutely poor, there's two foods you eat: either ramen noodles or fucking Chef Boyardee, because they both cost about the same.
Yep.
All right. I was a Chef Boyardee guy. I fucking lived on that shit, and I would still eat that if you sat in front of me. Like I'll take that and I'll dump a bunch of Parmesan cheese on it, throw some butter on top of that. Boy, howdy. Yeah, no, I like Chef Boyardee. It's just really bad for me.
Oh, dude, when we get together, I got a 90s outfit I'm gonna wear. It's it looks like a tracksuit off The Sopranos.
Oh, God.
It's purple, pink, white, green. It's all neons and shit. Oh yeah, I'll wear that.
So that's your Canon Films uniform. I'll wear one too, and we'll pretend to be the guys from Canon Films. Yeah.
We're Golden Globers.
Yeah, we'll be Golden Globers. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I would totally cosplay as Golden Globers.
Oh, I do that.
Gold chains and shit. Yeah.
We should break off into two groups and go as the ambiguously gay duo.
Ace and Gary.
All right, so
it's a pretty tight painting, though.
It is a pretty tight painting. Let's watch this video first. course there's going to be an ad.
Oh, this must be a trailer for the Magic Christmas Tree Part 2.
Our insurance company.
It's J.J. Abrams.
Well, did you know that May 4th is Star Wars Day?
Now I'm getting copyright strike for the fucking trailer.
With a lightsaber.
You're like, what's going on?
I was like, what are you doing? So this explains it all. Well, when movie fans say May the 4th be with you, First Coast News reporter Eric Alvarez has an unusual Star Wars story.
He thought he was so clever saying that.
I'm here at Green Room Brewing in Jack's Beach, where the Force has drawn.
Oh God, really?
Wrong color,
This Star
motherfucker.
Wars painting.
Cringe is real.
Yeah, jeez. I wonder if they got the fucking approval to use the fucking theme or not.
Yeah.
Not that far away. Painter and Star Wars fan Mubarak Abdullah III dreamt up the Jedi masterpiece.
My dad
That's a hell of a name.
Star Wars. I've been a fan ever since, man.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
Jedi's, all that stuff is right up my alley.
Those are good paintings.
Yeah.
I especially like this AT-AT or ATST.
That's slick.
Help himself.
That chicken walker.
The dark side.
Yeah.
One customer couldn't from the owners of
You see, that's like a marijuana
I still need to get me a chicken
heart
walker.
right there.
Yes, it is.
It's a joint heart.
the bar.
Just thought it was kind of cool.
So eye-catching, one customer couldn't help himself and turned to the dark side.
When they closed the bar, they realized the piece wasn't there anymore.
The bar posted the theft on its
Why does it have a mullet? The ATST is a mullet, dude. Look.
Habit the thief, which one can only assume is a scruffy-looking nerf herder. Saw
Oh my God.
the light side of the Force.
And said it was a drunken moment, and he made a bad decision.
He returned the painting Tuesday, along with a handwritten note that
Oh God, there it is.
an artist Mo. I
Motherfucker is 5 years old.
made a
It's
decision
got little scratches out and shit.
and my love for Star Wars. I feel awful. Once again, I sincerely apologize. I wish the artist all the best.
It was an honor to see someone have enough love for your piece that they would take it off a wall. I've done some silly things with alcohol, so I can understand the moment of weakness.
You're in Florida.
All of this story. If you take this painting down, it will return stronger than you can possibly imagine.
Oh my God.
God, dude, this video is killing
Oh,
me.
wow.
It's actually killing me. This video is giving me actual cancer. Okay.
So yeah, guy steals it from a fucking brewery.
There it is. There's the letter.
I don't know what's cringier, that dude's handwriting or that fucking reporting.
That fucking reporting was really
That
bad.
reporting. Whoever wrote that segment need their fucking
They
head
thought they
checked.
were so fucking clever.
Man,
doing
they're
all that
hip.
stuff.
They're cool.
We know what the kids like.
Nice Austin Powers deep cut there.
I fucking love Austin Powers. No,
Yep.
J.J. Abrams wrote this.
This
This is the script for episode 9 right here.
First draft, baby.
Yeah, first draft of the script.
You can tell it's first draft. He's like exiting out like all these things too.
I wonder if Ryan wrote his script with Cran.
This is where Rose Chico. No, we're gonna make Paige survive. No, we'll kill Paige. We'll keep Rose Chico alive. And this is what we're gonna do here. There's Canto Bite, and I've got Benicio del Toro. He's a great actor. I'm just gonna make him stutter, and he's gonna be a one-off character. It's gonna be awesome. It'll subvert everybody's expectations.
Ryan Johnson's so stupid. He not only wrote it in crayon, but he wrote it with white crayon on white crayon.
White crayon on white paper.
Yeah.
Cody, you ever listen to Ryan Johnson talk, like in interviews or anything like that?
Yeah, he's full of shit.
Wow, he's
He tries to sound like he's so
hard
brilliant.
to listen to. He's really difficult to listen to.
He's trying to sound like he's so brilliant, so calm, and like so educated. It's like, okay, buddy, how about you go watch the OT and go?
No,
"Fuck
all I
y'all,
get when
thanks."
I listen to him talk is that he's like a hipster, like trying to get a fix in between his two lattes. You know,
That's Rianne Johnson.
he's like 100% hipster.
No, he's an asshole. Fuck that guy.
He just went retro sci-fi on us.
I'm Jordy.
Pete, did you just go to the Oasis?
I'm Jordy, baby.
Yeah,
Isn't that the
give
guy's name?
Jordy
LeVar
eyes?
Burton?
Huh?
LeVar Burton from, was it Next Generation?
Yeah. Didn't they give Jordy eyes after a certain point?
Yeah, they
might
did.
have
In,
I thought
in the
so.
movies, not in the TV.
It
series.
wasn't.
in
Yeah.
the movies. Okay.
Yeah, in the movies, they finally gave LeVar Burton contacts after a while.
Yeah. Geordi, Data, and Worf were my favorites. I never I'd watch the show with my dad, but I was too young to understand it. But I had the Playmates toys of those three people.
Playmates. That was another low point in 2019.
Yeah.
I have a Commander Riker in here somewhere. He's next to Fat Albert and the Count from Sesame Street.
Oh, I've got all the.
Do not look up that actor now. He did not age well.
Oh, Riker?
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex. I was just trying to look up. I can't remember the name of the villain from Dark Forces 2. I was trying to look it up because I used to play the shit out of that game, but I can't remember his name. I'm gonna find it.
Dark Force. I don't think I ever played that
it's
one.
It's a PC game. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a PC game, but it was the first PC game I ever played. And I loved the hell out of that game.
I used to play EverQuest. If anybody knows what EverQuest is.
I know what EverQuest is.
I played EverQuest for a little bit, and I played Warcraft for like a hot minute, and I was done after that. But I couldn't keep up with it.
His name was Jarek. That was his name. Yeah, he's the main antagonist of the. I'll find a picture of him so you can see what I'm talking about.
That's what, dude. I have him up right now.
Here you go. All right.
I got him up right now. That's crazy.
Share
screen. No,
I keep thinking Bogan's gonna jump down through my square and just eat me.
Bogan.
See, Pete. Yeah, you're totally channeling Jarek there. Yeah, this game actually had like filmed cutscenes in between the gameplay.
Yeah, that was one of my first computer games I ever played. It
was actually really good. It was a good game.
Oh, it was amazing.
Very addictive. It was like
cheat codes too.
It was like Tomb Raider with lightsabers. That's the best way I could describe it. Like you would actually, and then Jedi Outcast was my favorite Star Wars game ever. That was the sequel to this one. Yeah, there's something they need. You want to get me excited? Bring back the guys that do Doom to do a Dark Forces reboot. I will be so back on a first-person shooter Star Wars game. Oh my god. A good one, though, not like Battlefront.
Alex pointed out, First Contact, he got his vision back. Geordi did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, those movies were, they were a thing. It's the only good thing I could say about them. They existed. So I think that's probably a good place to wrap this up. Unless anybody else has anything else they want to mention. Farewells, goodbyes, goodbye 2019.
Goodbye 2010s. Hello, roaring yet disappointing 2020s.
The 2010s are definitely going to go down in history as my least favorite time in my life.
It's going to be known as the Screeching 20s with all the SJWs.
I think that with any luck, that whole thing will be on its way out. No,
it's not going to happen overnight, but it's definitely going. It's going to have to, because I mean, you have to follow the money on these things, and the money dictates that people don't want that kind of entertainment. They're no longer dumb enough to be guilt shamed into entertainment anymore. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, that's good, Sal. Yiker. Yeah, Riker has not aged well.
What do you guys think we should drink tomorrow night?
I will be drinking a high-quality H2O because I have to work early in the morning on Friday.
Drinking what?
During
what are you
during the Rise of Skywalker, what do you think?
You guys should drink. You're going out. Yeah.
I'm not drinking tomorrow night at the movie. I'm going to. I'm gonna take another blueberry edible, and I've got one of my little PRs from the provisioning center called Death Star, which I will be.
Death Sticks.
Yep, I have my death sticks. I'm going to be partaking in before I go see this, and an edible I'll be eating. Right, but you want to go home and rethink your life. But no, so yeah, I'm gonna be medicated. I'll probably make my mom drive home, honestly. I'm like, you're gonna drive home, and I'm gonna complain and bitch into my camera the whole way home.
The only thing you got to look forward to is whether or not the popcorn's going to be delicious.
You know, that's my thing. I always take food into the theater because I'm gonna go buy my candy tomorrow at the dollar store because I have a big coat. So,
you know, one thing I hate, man, but because I love movie theater popcorn,
but I have to get popcorn. Absolutely.
I hate it when you stand in line and they go get that fucking pre-set bucket that they popped up and they've had it sitting under a fucking shit. I want the fresh shit that came out of the fucking light bulb.
Yep.
I want that shit fresh. And I want that
out of the light bulb.
I want that double layered
Yeah.
with the fucking butter on it too, man. Like the one
dude.
food I used to go to, they'd layer it for you. Like if you ask them, like they'll put some in, put a layer of butter on there, throw some more on, a layer of butter,
and more butter.
That's when the shit's good, son.
Yes.
Right?
There's an AMC here that they do it's like a combo, or what they call a house combo, and if you buy a pack of their M&Ms, they'll actually do the M&Ms and the popcorn and stuff, so they're all gooey.
I actually heard that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good because the shell.
Pete's eyes.
The shell doesn't really melt.
Yeah.
It's food.
Yeah, the shell doesn't melt, but the heat from the popcorn warms up the chocolate in the middle, so they're like little, like warm chocolatey pellets.
Yeah. Chocolate and popcorn is a winning combination. Chocolate caramel and popcorn is a winning combination. Oh, buddy. Boy,
my favorite is popcorn and then the little Nestle Crunch Bites.
Bunch of Crunch.
Yeah. Oh my god.
You ever get those fucking tins at Christmas time? The big garbage can size. It's got three kinds of popcorn. It's got cheese corn, caramel corn, and then I don't know, just regular popcorn or chocolate popcorn or something. That's some bomb ass shit right there.
My kid got one of those last year and I ate 3/4 of it.
The nice thing about caramel corn is once you put that caramel on it, like that shit stays like soft forever. Like it doesn't get stale on you. So
in one sitting. I just pop more regular popcorn and threw it back in there. My king, I know the motherfucking difference. I'll just pull the thing out the middle. Bam, there. It's just one thing of popcorn, son. There you go.
You guys aren't young enough to remember when they had caramel corn in the malls, the shopping malls. You don't remember caramel corn? It used to be a fucking store that just sold fucking popcorn.
They got stores like that.
They probably still do. Maybe they call them something different. But yeah, caramel corn would have like just like popcorn balls of like sugar and fucking caramel and shit in the window, like when you walk up, like they, you could see the actual popcorn in the window. It smelled wonderful when you walked past one of those places, man.
There's a store in St. Augustine that sells like only popcorn, and they got every flavor you could imagine.
Gourmet popcorn is worth spending money for. That's all I'm going to say.
They got everything from like bacon ranch popcorn,
wow,
to Dorito popcorn,
wow,
Mountain Dew popcorn,
diabetes popcorn. Jesus,
diabetes.
Oh my god, that sounds fucking amazing. You're killing me.
Special date popcorn where there's a hole in the bottom.
That's why you keep that gap in between you and your buddy.
And he went to the well with that one. Looks like he's trying the old hole in the bottom of the popcorn bucket. There's a surprise waiting in there for her.
Yeah, it's called burnt foreskin because that's some hot butter.
Woo, man! Straight to the sewer.
Put the lotion on the foreskin.
We never disappoint. So, so we're gonna break for 2 weeks. So what kind of plans you guys got for the holidays?
I don't want to break for 2 weeks. I miss you guys.
I gotta go out of town, man. Plane tickets are already working. Trust me, I don't want to go up north and freeze my balls off.
Yeah, dude. Welcome to Antarctica, bro.
I grew up in Illinois. I know what the fuck I'm missing. That's why I don't want to go back there. All right, I know, but I already know. I've been here for 4 years. I already know I'm going to freeze my asshole off as soon as I get off the airplane.
Bring back a pizza, bro. I want a deep dish.
It was 9 degrees here in the middle of the day today.
Hell yeah.
9 fucking degrees and snow.
I was bitching because it was 54 when I got up this morning.
Dude, it's freezing today.
It's cold. I know. I got up when I always go outside and kind of read my phone and drink my green tea and shit. Sit out back, and wake up that way. And I'm sitting out there. And I open that door. It's like 50 fucking degrees out. I'm like, no.
You remind me of
that's shorts weather.
No, it ain't.
I had shorts on today.
Well, like shorts and a tank top. It's 50 degrees.
Yeah,
dude, it's in the 40s right now, and it's so fucking cold.
You've been in Florida too long. Us northern people, like when it's like not 30 out, we think it's fucking summertime. We want to go out half naked just because we can.
It's gonna be 80 degrees, and you're gonna be like, it's so fucking hot out here.
Not me, dude.
80 degrees.
I'm the only, like, I go to Tennessee in July and I'm like, it's 110 degrees with like 190% humidity and I'm happy. I'm like, I'm home.
I moved here because I appreciate 80-degree weather. I love fucking when it's warm outside. I will find ways to keep cool. When I'm cold, I can't get fucking warm.
Me and the heat do not get along anymore.
I did fine with it. I'm surprised though, Sally. Haven't you mostly been in coastal places, or no? Not always.
I grew up landlocked.
You grew up landlocked. Okay. But since you've been listed, though, you've been in some coastal places, right?
I've been in some watery places and places with a lot of sand.
That's places in the sand, yeah. I have not been to the desert, so I have no fucking idea what that is.
Who's going to say it first?
The closest I've been to the desert was Las Vegas.
It's coarse and it gets everywhere.
There we go. We did it.
All right.
Anyways, going to wrap it up here. So if anybody doesn't have any questions, we're going to get going. You guys be very safe. Have a happy Christmas, happy holidays, and a very happy New Year. We'll be back in 2 weeks, which will be on Pete's channel. Is it Pete's turn or is it Cody's turn? I forgot.
Pete's turn.
Pete's turn. So yeah, we'll be back on Hulk. Yeah, we'll be back on the Place to Be reviews. So make sure you subscribe to that. The link to that channel should be in the description here once this video uploads. If you haven't subscribed to Pete, please do so. Pete, what do you got going on in the next couple of weeks on your channel, buddy?
I have the live stream Friday night for my Rise of Skywalker live stream. No live streams next week. I will be out of town. I'll be with family. And the week after that, we'll come back. It'll be the 30th. I'll have some videos going up next week. Some just, quick pre-recorded videos. Probably not a lot of editing done to them. Be some point and shoots. But just so I can get some videos up. Let's see. The 30th, I'm going to try to scrape together a cast for a live episode on Monday, December 30th. The 31st, I will be doing a morning show. It'll be, obviously, it's the New Year's, that'll be New Year's Eve day. We'll go for about an hour, and that'll be it. And then, be off until probably the following Monday for live streams. Just do, pop off some videos and stuff like that. But I'm just going to take next week and, like I said, do a couple of videos and just spend time with the family for the most part. It's Christmas, and yeah.
What about you, Goober? What you got going on?
Tomorrow I will be doing a live show on my channel, kind of a small pre-Rise of Skywalker show. So if you guys are available, let's do it. It's going to be at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Send me a link.
I'll send you a link. And Sal, are you still down?
I will try to make it. If I'm not able to, I will message you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send the link either way, and then if you can't come, don't worry about it.
Now, Sal, I know you've been moving, man. So what do you got going on channel wise once you get that all up and running?
Once I'm moved it, like I'm still moving, so I still have a whole unpacking on the other end of that. Once that is done, I'm probably just gonna be on a hiatus until the new year, because I gotta unpack everything, and with holidays and everything else, I can't guarantee any new content will be up. But I've got probably a back catalog calamity coming up because I've got so much shit that I have back catalogs. That I'm just
you haven't opened that chicken walker yet, have you?
The Mandalorian one?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Yes. All right. So, let me know when you're opening that because I want to see what you think of that before I purchase it. Yeah, because I'm thinking about getting one.
When I open that one, it's going to be a comparison video between that one, the Power of the Force 2 Chicken Walker, the Black Series Chicken Walker that they had, and the Vintage Chicken Walker.
Because some of those are good and some of them are really not, I heard. So
yeah.
I'm anxious to see what you think of that. My channel, I don't have anything else going on this week. This is the last show for me, so I'll miss everybody. As far as my channel goes, though, I have pre-recorded content that I made in advance because I don't have time to sit down and do videos this week because I'm packing for the trip, and then I leave on Saturday and I'll be gone for 2 weeks, so I won't be able to record from where I'm at. So there'll still be videos coming out, but as far as the live shows go, not till the next year. So you guys be very safe, and I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to everybody. So, like I said, happy holidays, happy New Year's. And this is the Groovinator signing out for the Boardroom, episode 6. We'll see you in the next year.
Bye.
Mary Chrysler.
Happy Christmas.
Bye-bye, you cracker-ass crackers.
Rick.